Yeah, the red
Oh,
pill community.
God.
Yeah. I got some news.
Gross.
Yeah, well, actually,
What? Actually, what? You can't just do that. You can't just say actually and then just never say what it was.
oh sorry,
How can you
hold
do
on.
this
I
to
don't know.
me?
I wanna. Hold on. I'm getting an echo for some reason, and I have no fucking clue why.
Oh, that might be me.
Not you. It's not you.
Oh, it is not me. Look at that. Hi, fuck.
Okay, here we go. Okay, fuck my life.
I can still hear you. You keep talking. I'm grabbing my beer.
Yeah. So there's this part of the YouTube or the internet that's called the red pill community. These are the people who are very entitled, and they think that they're entitled to women and their subservience and everything like that, and that a man should be in charge and yada yada yada. And they also like introduce the concept of high valued man, like someone who's filthy rich or something like that, or who's the only breadwinner in the family. And so so women should cater to them in order if they want someone like that as their partner. So it's ridiculous. So we have this channel with almost like 2 million subscribers. It's called Fresh and Fit, and I've never seen such misogyny in my life. Seriously,
Oh, yeah.
they are misogynist as hell. So what they do is, because they're in Miami, if I'm not right, LA or Miami, I think so. So
In Florida? Or California?
yeah, California. So they get these young local girls to come on the show. They pay them to come on the show, by the way, and then they put some really hard, questions in front of them about relationships, finances, and blah 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 blah. And when the girls are like not able to answer them, so they will go, see, girls are stupid, girls are dumb.
Well, it's not even
And
that the girls don't answer them. It's that they cut them off. They cut the
Yeah,
clip
they cut them
before
off.
the girl answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Manya, the screen
Okay,
is
so-
black while you're trying to explain this. You gotta be faster. Because the thing ended.
So finally, the channel got demonetized, and they have been whining since. And the internet is
Yeah.
having a field day because these motherfuckers tried to bring down other channels who were trying to criticize them by false copyright striking. So yeah, so everybody's having a field day, and everybody's like, vindication. So yeah, they got demonetized.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Fekk Friday.
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 It's going to be fun.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's us. We're back. Welcome back to Dumb Fekk Friday. We are here, and we're doing our last day of Barbie month, and we're gonna talk about Shoe0nHead. Yeah! Abby is with us. Manya's with us. I think, Abby, you're a little tired today. How you feeling? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. Did you mute you? Did I mute you?
I muted me.
Ah, okay.
That's my
Panicked
bad.
there
Yeah,
for a
I
second.
was- Unsurprisingly, self-explanatory. I am tired. My body yesterday was like, "Hey, you haven't rested in a while, so we're gonna do that." And I was in bed by 8 o'clock.
Oh, nice. I mean, that's kind of nice, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sleep on time. Yeah.
I tried to go to sleep early yesterday, and I failed. I didn't fall asleep until like 3
I think so. I'm responsible for that.
Mhm.
I'm partly
No,
responsible for
but
that.
you definitely didn't help.
The only problem though is I went to bed at 8 and then I woke up at 9 or 10 today. So I woke up in between, a couple times, but all of that, and so now I'm just kind of in that post sleep in grogginess, and it just has not gone away. So it's am I still tired? Do I still need the rest, or am I just groggy? What's up?
This is how
So-
I
I think
feel in
it's
the
just
morning. If I
grogginess.
don't, I am never awake. My brain doesn't turn on until I have brushed my teeth and put on my glasses. If I don't do those things, I'm still asleep. Look how blurry everything is, obviously.
Right.
Who needs to see, am I right? Okay. There is a song actually called Who Needs Sleep by the Bare Naked Ladies, if you've never heard it. You'll like it. So, welcome back to Dumb Fek Friday. It is Barbie month. We've basically been watching angry conservative men complaining about problems that they made up in their head. Complaining about the patriarchy and then blaming women for it. That's basically, I think, the wrap-up of what we've gotten so far. So, instead of listening to a man and what they think and how they definitely don't have voices, we're going to listen to a woman this time. We've got Shoe0nHead.
Mix it up.
Hey, listen, we here at Dumb Fuck Friday are equal opportunist dumb fucks. There is no race, creed, religion, ethnicity, or gender, or lack of gender, it prevents you from being a dumb fuck. It is we are all inclusive here at Dumb Fuck Friday.
Yes. We are impartial and all inclusive.
Oh, I'm not impartial. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not.
No, we're talking about like gender and race and all that stuff. And that
non-exclusive.
No,
All right, shall we say what Shoe has to say about this? I hear that she linked her new boyfriend. I don't know how new he is. I don't know about her relationship status, but I guess she's got a boyfriend now, and she linked his video in her description. So depending on how quickly we get through this one, maybe we'll look at the other one.
Is the boyfriend still in the mint condition box that it came in, or has the box been opened and used?
I don't know. I might be losing some of that
Is
value.
Is he a collectible Barbie or a play with Barbie?
Is he a magic earring can or beach can?
Oh, is it Alan?
Is it Alan? This is the only one any of us are interested in. Is it Alan?
And this is on Prager. Oh my fucking lord, that stupid channel. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's using footage from PragerU for some reason. Presumably PragerU also had some comments on Barbie. If we want, we can go look at that. But do we want to? Do we care?
Yeah.
I feel like we've already put in the work.
Yeah.
I play.
Just went and watched the Barbie movie, and it is probably the wokest film of 2023.
This movie is not.
What is woke?
This movie is a flaming piece of dog.
I don't need to watch Barbie to know that it's bad.
I think we all agree that Matt Walsh is a piece of shit, right?
I have a special place in my own hell for Matt Walsh.
Why is your special hell? Because I have a special hell, but I think mine might be different than yours.
Because he came to my place of work and testified against trans people.
Your reason's way better than mine. I was pissy that he got hockey wrong.
No.
Yeah.
If I ever see him, I'm gonna throw my gentle at him and chase him out of the town. Seriously.
Throw a pie. Pie.
He was like, this is public record. Like, you can go find it. Where he was like, I'm not a doctor, and so someone was like, hey, what qualifies you to speak on these issues if you're not a doctor? And he's like, well, I'm
a man
with a brain.
I'm a man.
I was like, are you?
Are you?
Yeah, like.
I'm gonna need you to bring evidence to court demonstrating that you do in fact have a brain. Thank you.
Yeah, that was literally earlier this year, so I have a very special level of shh for Matt Walsh right now.
That's fair.
I'm gonna definitely look for that after this live stream.
I have been intending
I'll try and find it and send you the link for it.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, that is definitely a feature of this channel. I've been debating on watching his "What Is a Woman" thing, but doing it for a live stream and just getting drunk as fuck because I feel like if something's gonna kill my brain cells, I want it to be on my own terms. So
Yes.
So
I can give you company, Chesh, if you want to, and make it an 11-hour stream.
It'll be longer. It'll be days if you try and do this with me. Days.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm going to go crazy at every line that guy's gonna say. I'm like, what the fuck? What did you just say?
I refuse to be accused of having a brain. Anyway, yeah, we all agree. Matt Walsh is a piece of shit. I don't know why she's referencing him outside of, I don't need to watch the Barbie movie to know it's bad. Cool, we don't need to listen to you to know you're a moron. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop playing with their Barbies.
So, I just saw Barbie, and it is the most preachy, woke, liberal, feminist garbage I have ever seen in my goddamn life.
There we go.
Or was it? Which pill will you take, audience? Will you take the Shapiro pill, where you will stay in reality, crying and shitting about woke Hollywood forever? Or will you take the shoe pill, where reality is anything you make it, and the Barbie movie was actually an anti-woke masterpiece?
Alright. Thoughts so far?
I have no idea where this is going.
That's
good, actually. That's
Fair
good.
enough.
You're like thinking, okay, what she got?
Alright, take bets now. Chat, tell us what you think. Do you think that she is going to actually just say that it is that it is woke and stuff, etc., etc.? Or do you think that do you think she's gonna just not follow through with this analogy? Or her points won't follow through with the analogy? I don't know. Let's hit play and find out.
Yeah, I really hope it's not disjointed, because that's gonna break my brains. Please. Have some logical flow in it. Please.
That's a great screen pause. That's a good one. I like that. That's cute.
As a kid, I didn't really play with Barbies. I was not really a Barbie enjoyer. I liked dinosaurs, I liked Hot Wheels, I liked office lamps. So Barbie doesn't really hold any special...
That is a thing. Children will latch onto anything. I like props on that one. I don't know. I was the kind of kid who played with Barbies and dinosaurs at the same time.
Ooh, Barbie meets Godzilla.
I had a shark toy and a mermaid Barbie and then a land Barbie, and land Barbie always got eaten by the shark and the mermaid Barbie.
I was pretty exclusively Barbie. Playing with Polly Pocket was me branching out. However,
I had Polly Pocket. My sister shoved the Polly Pocket up her nose once.
I shoved a bead up my nose in preschool and had to go to the doctor to get it removed. It was really embarrassing.
No!
Yeah, so I my mom had a bunch of old Western toys, just Johnny West, horses and cowboy type dolls that were about Barbie sized. Obviously they weren't you couldn't change their clothes and put any clothes on them. They were just that. But we kind of threw them into the mix a few times, especially the horses.
Did you guys ever have the Disney Polly Pocket sets? So they were designed. They weren't actually Polly Pocket, but they were designed
one or
Polly
two,
Pockets.
the little the minis.
Yeah, and they would open up and it would be Agrabah, the castle, and you'd get there would be a carpet and they'd have little pegs in them so you could put them around in the set.
I think we had one that was it had a fountain, and I think it was supposed to be Beauty and the Beast, the village. I think we had that one. But I honestly don't remember.
Money didn't have any of this shit.
I just the one mini I remember having distinct. Well, there's actually two. There's two minis I remember distinctly having. One was a shoe, the little old lady who lives in the shoe type deal, and it had a little fairy that you could stick in the top. And then the other one I remember is having Shelly, the fairy from Barbie Mermaidia, but it was a mini version.
Yeah, my exposure, I think, at that point, at around that age, would have been The Little Mermaid and Peter Pan, which are two very diametrically opposed types of mermaids. Kind of.
Yes.
One is an air mermaid, one is a water mermaid, yeah.
Well, they're both water mermaids, but the mermaids in Peter Pan try to drown Wendy because they're having fun.
That.
Yeah, we were only trying to drown her.
They literally say it.
Yes.
What?
And then in The Little Mermaid, it's kind of implied that the mermaids would leave people to drown, if not drown them, if they saw a mermaid, right? It's kind of in the background subtlety in there where he's you do not interact with human. What was I supposed to do? Let him drown? Yes!
Yes!
The thing I think is interesting about the Peter Pan mermaids is that they try to drown Wendy.
Yeah.
Which, historically, mythologically, they drown men. Partially because men were the sailors, but they are so jealous of Wendy and they want Peter's attention that they try to drown her instead. And I just think it's a really interesting flip. Obviously it's not intended flip, it's the 50s and they're sexist. But
right.
But if we wanted to analyze that and it was intentional, it would be a very interesting flip of the myth.
Yeah, I think that would be a very, very interesting sort of you could totally make an entire story, movie, book, whatever about mermaids, about toxic femininity, women who are just pearly things, women like that who are no, if you're not doing things right, mermaids will kill you because they want to impress the men. So the mermaids are all pick-me girls.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of fun with that.
I don't believe it that people can't see that Just Pearly thing is just trolling the shit out of them so that she can get traffic on her Twitter. They can't see that. Like, for some reason, I'm like, ignore her and she will go away. That's the basics.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't have anything of... There's nothing of value in most of what she says. It's very, like, surface level. Like, you didn't think this through. But
and she had
we're
a
here to talk
white
about Shoe.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Nostalgia in my heart. But I was still very excited to see this film. The trailers to this film made it look funny and charming. Everyone was very excited to see Ryan Gosling as Ken, and every man on Earth was ready to download his new personality. And once I saw Ben Shapiro do a 45-minute video, I knew it just had to be good.
Right, one of the Barbies is a trans Barbie with a voice, again, deeper than my own.
Ben, I have a deeper voice than you. Everyone has a deeper voice than you. What was funny was people were actually dunking on Ben.
Mine is double
bringing a notebook to the movie theater so he could write notes while he was watching Barbie. But, like, I did that too. Let's see what this says.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I don't really mind if people... I don't think we dunked on him for that. I think we dunked on him because we were like, is there anything on the paper?
Yeah, we suspect there was nothing written on the paper.
Is that we dunked on him for the voice deeper than mine comment, and we dunked on him for, you know, whether or not he actually wrote anything.
Or whether or not he actually watched the same movie we did, because everything he described was like, that didn't happen.
What are you talking about?
Feet. Oh yeah, there was a lot of feet. There was a lot of feet in this movie. This is literally like
There's not a lot of feet in this movie.
No?
There's one scene
There's slightly more feet in this movie than there are in plenty of other movies. However, it's the joke about the Barbie foot shape. Like, it's not like...
Yeah, they make that joke a bunch, but they only show the feet, like, twice?
3 times.
3 times. Because there's the time where it happens. They show her feet there as the joke. Then they show her feet again when they're flat. And then they show when she brings her foot up to show the other Barbies. They talk about it again with the joke about which shoe are you gonna take.
And Weird Barbie.
I'm kind of sad that Shoe didn't take that joke and run with that, like use that clip, because the Morpheus joke is in the Barbie movie. But I digress. I didn't think there was very much feet in this. It had a foot joke in it, and it ran a little bit, but It's no Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what I mean?
The only close-ups we get of feet are 3 times. That's it.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics. What is this? What is that? What does it mean? First of all, let's get the good things out of the way. The set was amazing and gorgeous. I'm absolutely obsessed with the aesthetics of the Barbie movie. I love every single outfit Margot Robbie wore. The fashion and the visuals in this movie just... spectacular. Margot Robbie did a great job as Barbie, even though according to the internet, she is mid. If you don't like Will Ferrell, you probably won't like his character in this movie because he's playing the same character he plays in every single movie, but I like that character, so I liked him in this movie.
So, okay, thoughts about Will Ferrell real quick. I don't like Will Ferrell when Will Ferrell is the main character. If Will Ferrell's not the main character, I usually think he's... Like, I loved him in Zoolander. Absolutely hilarious. He's playing, like, the same kind of character, but less angry.
The thing is that Will Ferrell's characters are always kind of a bit, and it's weird when that bit takes up an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Right, that, like, I can't stand things like Talladega Nights. I'm like, I can't with this. No.
I actually really like Talladega Nights, but I think it was because, like, I grew up in NASCAR country.
Oh, that's fair. That is fair. There's probably a ton of jokes in that I just didn't get as being Canadian. Like, because, when he's with a duo sometimes, like Step Brothers, I was like, okay, alright. But, like,
I don't like that movie, but that's not on Will Ferrell. I just don't like that movie. I don't like that type of humor.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as, like, a duo, I loved him in Spirited. I thought that was really good with Ryan Reynolds. The other Ryan.
Yeah.
The other Ryan.
the other hot Ryan. The Canadian.
The Ryan that owns a soccer team.
I still want I want a Barbie movie that's a spin-off movie, or like a BBC special that's like 4 hour episodes that's Beach Ken, so like Ryan Gosling Ken, and Ryan Reynolds as like Lumberjack Ken, and they're like just going around doing whatever. I want that movie now so badly.
And and that character that Ryan Reynolds played, the good NPC one. What was that movie that just came out recently?
Guy. The one where he's like a life. He's like a video game character.
Yeah. He's an NPC. Yeah. But then he gets consciousness in that, and then just everything. So that one, like
extra guy, something. I can't remember. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Gosling absolutely stole the entire movie, and I genuinely hope like he wins some kind of award for it, because that would just be delicious irony. I left out.
He's not gonna win an award for it. Comedy roles are notoriously difficult to get awards for. First off, second off,
Free Guy.
Yes, he did. Free Guy, yeah. Second off, he did an incredible job. However, there's something that gets discounted a lot when you have a funny man like this in a movie, and it is that you need Margot Robbie to be able to play it straight.
Mm-hmm.
If the people around him can't, like, ignore his shenanigans and play it as if it's real, it will not work. And so, like, in this case, because Ryan Gosling was pit against actors that could hold their own in the scene, it works. If they couldn't, it wouldn't work. It'd be terrible.
Well, I think it's kind of like with the beach off scene. Like, that required both of them to take that completely ridiculous bit completely seriously.
Yeah.
And watching it, like, you can tell there's a certain point in it where it's like they're about to not take this seriously.
They start to break.
Got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And they do. And, like, it's fine. But there is also that moment of, like,
yes, there's also a bit in there where you can have Ken being as ridiculous as Ken is, and he plays it straight. But you have to have the rest of the cast on board. Like, the only character that was like the most like this character makes the most sense, like this is the fourth wall breaking character, is Alan.
Yeah.
Alan is just like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. He's the audience, just being like, yes. Huh?
What's happening?
He's not gonna win any awards for it. I don't even know what award he would.
That's actually sad, that for comedy they don't consider comedians for awards. That's
there's two types of films that just get like shit on constantly. And they just do not get respect in Hollywood when they actually do the most to like prop Hollywood up. It's comedy and horror. Mm-hmm. Horror carries the movie industry through any thick and thin. Horror is always there doing something, and they are the ones that they tend to be the movies that are the most innovative.
Yeah,
because they have the space.
As someone who does not watch horror, I can respect that, but also like not see them.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. When I say respect, I mean like they don't win awards. They don't.
Right.
The acting in them is not considered it when it comes to like the Academy Awards or Golden Globes or anything like that. But they like from an industry standard. Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing with Barbie is like I'm not expecting it to get any awards, even though I think it should get at least a few.
Set design,
especially
script.
For set, and even arguably costuming. But like,
oh yeah,
I'm not expecting it to get anything because it is Barbie. It is a movie about a toy that is primarily marketed towards girls. So, like, maybe that's just me being too cynical, but like, I don't expect anything from that.
No, not with like the people who anybody who knows anything about cinema will know that there are things like Oscar bait. So you are not Barbie is not going to win awards when Oppenheimer just came out.
There's that too, and like when I think about like Oscar bait too, like I think about like Little Women, also directed by Greta Gerwig. And that very opening scene of like Jo March just like perfectly framed with, waiting for her book publishing, meeting or whatever. And it's so Oscar baity, and I don't mind it. It's fine. But even Little Women only walked away with one Oscar for costuming. I think it was.
Yeah.
It's kind of
when you know who's doing the voting for Oscars, like for who wins, you know, like women get dunked on, black people get dunked on, black women get dunked on.
especially.
Look, this
Yeah,
movie is already out of the running for having a black woman Barbie president.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I expect it will get several nominations. I don't expect it will win any of those nominations.
Yeah.
It
I
might
agree.
get away with set design. Maybe.
Do they need to win when they made so much money?
No, they absolutely
I think that is
don't.
the winning.
Who cares? Who cares?
Propping up the economy one female dollar at a time.
They're just Spider-Man holding the in every Spider-Man movie.
Loud like 3 times, which is less than I thought I would, but there were a lot of like funny and cute moments that will make you go, huh? The humor and the overall vibe of this movie remind
I laughed out loud at that in the theater. And I know I'm that guy, so I try to like contain myself while I'm at the theater. I laughed out loud a good number of times. I might have laughed at this movie more than I did the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I definitely did.
I don't hold back my laughs. I never hold back my laughs, and especially the clapping that goes along with them. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm.
There's like
You'll hear them at the back.
There's a handful of. This movie is funny. But there's a handful of jokes in here that I would not be surprised that Shoe just didn't get. Right? There's a handful of jokes in these movies that are like the type of joke that it is for a very specific group of people. And I think Shoe is not that individual. I don't think she wants to be, at least from what she portrays on screen. She's like, I am not this type of person. This is just not the type of thing that I think is funny. But maybe that's just my interpretation. Not all the jokes are for everybody.
Did me a lot of Zoolander. Obviously not as funny as Zoolander, but the overall vibe was very early 2000s comedy. If you
That to me
See what I just say?
That feels like internalized misogyny to me because I did not, and this is part like my own personal opinion. I did not find Zoolander to be that funny. Like it was cute, it was funny, whatever. But like I was like, I've seen it once. That's enough for me. I'm not gonna laugh at these jokes twice. Like that was my opinion of Zoolander. Whereas like Barbie, I'm gonna laugh at those jokes a lot.
Yeah,
and so to each their own preferences, sure, whatever, but like just from my own personal perspective of both Barbie and Zoolander, that sentence felt like internalized misogyny to me.
I'm wondering if the comparison is coming from Zoolander being a ditzy model.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you pulling... Like, I pulled from Zoolander earlier, funnily enough, coincidentally, because I was talking about Will Ferrell.
Right.
Not because I was talking about the content of the movie, so I'm wondering where she's pulling, like, this reminded me of Zoolander from. Is it because it's, like, there's a degree of ridiculousness that comes from Ken that is not unsimilar to, like, I'm playing this incredibly straight... Except Zoolander didn't play it straight. Zoolander did not play this like it was real, right? Zoolander knew I can't turn left. But why male models? I just explained it to you. I loved Zoolander. I've watched that movie a good number of times. Oh yeah, I can turn around and go watch it again and I'll laugh at it. But this movie is not Zoolander. These are not in the same vein. Zoolander didn't even have anything to really say. It was kind of just a parody and a mocking in general of the fashion industry and the way models are viewed as people rather than like actually commentary on society.
Zoolander also didn't like create like so much like or stir shit so much among the conservatives like Ben Shapiro and all that. Yeah, so that's why Barbie is kind of different from that. Barbie, everybody's like, holy shit, this movie like made some impact in any way, like in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know that it made impact on some individual women. For example, Shad's wife. That we talked about last time. Shad's wife.
Oh god.
So.
That poor girl, that poor lady. Oof.
But why male models? That was improvised. That was an improvised line too. That was the guy explained it. He, like, Ben Stiller forgot the next line, so he just repeated the previous one.
Why the male models?
But yeah, I don't know where this comparison is even coming from outside of their... I'd be more inclined to like, maybe bring this movie into a comparison with like Small Soldiers, because at least they're both dolls, or Toy Story, or like, you know what I mean, where it's just like the dolls are alive.
Yeah, or even like Life Size, one where a doll literally becomes a person.
Yeah, I was thinking of what's the one, Drop Dead Fred, but that's it didn't quite. That was my first thought, but that one's a imaginary friend is back. Old movie, Carrie Fisher.
Go into this movie with the idea that this movie was made to look like and feel like a movie made 20 years ago, it just makes a lot more sense. The movie broke the fourth.
I don't know why. I wish you would explain why.
Yeah, but the only thing I can think of for that is the fact that Hollywood has gotten so attached to CGI, and this was a practical set.
Yeah.
Which I don't think makes it look old. I think it makes it look real. Because I remember watching like The Hobbit, and I was like, I know that Lord of the Rings came out. Was that 120 year 30?
The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings came out in 2000. The Fellowship of the Ring came out in 2001.
Okay, so literally 20 years ago.
Return of the King was 2003.
And The Hobbit was in the 2010s, teens, whatever.
Hobbit was 2012 to 2014.
There we go. Right there in the middle between the 10s and the teens.
You got it.
So, like, it's like, I know that The Hobbit is 10 years more recent than Lord of the Rings. However, it looks way more dated to me, even when I watched it the first time in 2012, because the trolls were just so CGI'd, and I was like, they are standing next to real actors, and they do not look like they belong in the same world. Like, one of these looks like it belongs in an animated movie, and the other one looks like it belongs in a live-action movie, and they don't work well together. Whereas, like,
and the action also was...
And so it blended better.
Yeah.
And for the CGI action also, it was true CGI for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
especially
the
when you see
Lord
Legolas.
of the Rings movies had all of, like, they're like, we're bringing in all... But the same thing happened, like, how Quidditch developed throughout the Harry Potter movies, of how, like, people thought it looked bad. But when it came out, people thought it looked good. They were like, wow, they really did these flying scenes in Quidditch, but then you go back and look at it, and it's just like...
Yeah.
But I don't
and
know
also
what
depends
about
on the
this...
directors also, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I just don't know what it was about this movie that made it, for her, that made it feel like 2000s. The only thing I can think of is, like, it's got kind of a positive message, and a lot of movies that have come out in the last, and a lot of media that's come out in the last little while has been, like, very dystopian.
So I feel like she's talking about the look of it, not the content, though. I don't know.
Maybe.
She needs to clarify more, I guess. She needs to...
I think if she explained why or how... I mean, maybe she's going to get to that, but she seems like she's just moving on. That's why I paused it there, but let's keep playing. Maybe,
also,
maybe
like, another small detail is, like, the school looks like a normal-ass school. It doesn't look like this, the state-of-the-art school that we tends to be in a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, often, it felt very self-aware, or at least appeared that way. The parts of the movie where the movie wasn't trying to be anything deeper than what it was were great, but the parts...
You're misinterpreting it.
Yeah.
The whole movie was designed to be deep, but the way you do filmmaking is you put lighthearted moments in between to give your audience time to breathe and process the thing that just happened.
Yeah, like there are definitely movies out there that are either trying to say something or trying to say nothing, and they try to, like, cover it up with whatever the other one is. Yeah. Like, for me, like, watching Solo, that was one for me where it was like, it's, a good, swashbuckling, not
adventure
pulpy,
romp.
A pulp adventure. And then we get this whole, like, okay, but, like, not immigration, like, indigenous folks and, capitalism. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Because it was just swashbuckling pulp 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, why is this here?
And they kind of had to, like, cram in some message. And that didn't really vibe well with me. But then I've seen other movies that have this really deep message where they do absolutely undercut it because they're... And I see this mostly in Marvel, specifically. Where they're like, hey, we made a lot of money with Deadpool, so let's make a bunch of jokes. and then they'll have this really serious scene that says a lot about the characters, might say something about our world, and then, you know, they do the you know, like Doctor Strange brushing his cheeks. Stop. It's like, okay, neat.
Why is this here? Yeah.
Should I shoot you? Should I not shoot you? Is it sexist to not shoot you?
It's around it's around like the after the first set phase of Endgame. Everything after Endgame has kind of been struggling because it's doing that same thing that like I thought I took from Supernatural when Supernatural was coming out. Supernatural was fantastic because it had a planned story all the way up to like season 4, season 5, where like Lucifer and Michael are doing their thing. Then that ends. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, no, we need to keep going. And then it's just like, now we need to meander for a couple of seasons because we don't really have a plot yet. And it's just like kind of ruins it for you. And so like, that's one of the things, like, how good would it have been if Disney could have just been like, okay, we finished Endgame. Now we let some things rest. We just let things rest, let them exist for a little while. We wait a couple of years, then we come out with like Falcon as Captain America, with the Winter Soldier in like a new thing. Yeah, they can like, and yeah, in the meantime, you can come out with WandaVision and Loki over on Disney. But there is like a whole another industry struggle that has to do with these movie industries trying to do streaming and making sure that the streaming service has enough content on it to make sure that it's actually it's a mess. It's a fucking it's a whole.
Yep.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Another conversation. But
yeah,
if I this movie doesn't do that. This movie has a point. The scenes that are there are chosen on purpose. It's not random. Right? They're either there to bring levity or to help like ease you in or to make the transition while making a point or a joke. So one of the scenes that she doesn't show in the transition is the camper. And during the camping scene, or like the little snippet that you get, if you pause these scenes and watch them slowly, I was able to catch it in the theater, but I was looking. So if you're not looking, you might need to watch it again or like slow it down to watch it. All of these scenes kind of are making a little bit of a point. Ken isn't an astronaut. That's why he's flying on the outside. He's clinging on. He's not supposed to be there. The camping scene, she's reading a book or working on something, and she goes and sits down by the fire while he's hanging up the laundry. Right? There's all of these scenes have something in them that makes a point about who they are and the dynamic between them and the adventure that they're going on. Because you'll see the same thing when they go back the other way, it changes a little bit. And that makes, there's a point being made within these transition scenes, but you need to recognize that it does that between point A and point B and the opposite way around. Anyway, I don't play.
The movie that tried to be something deeper were really, really bad. But what if I told you that's what makes it so good? Take the shoe pill, and I'll show you how deep this Barbie hole goes. Barbie hole? Now before I pop off, before I put on my, 2016 Shoe0nHead hat, let's make one thing perfectly clear. Barbie was always about female empowerment. I was absolutely expecting a girl power movie. Like, it's Barbie. If you were expecting anything else, then you're a fool. But
I think that's fair, but was Barbie always about female empowerment? Because I think that's part of the point the movie's making. That it might have been intended, but not what happened.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, it's not necessarily wrong, but it is also a little overgenerous.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I wasn't expecting the type of politics that were in this movie. The politics, at least on like a surface level, were very, very 2014. That is like the only way that I could describe it. The most tired, lib shit, corpo, Tumblr, male tears ass. It had everything, it had catcalling, it had mansplaining, it had patriarchy. Oh god, did it have patriarchy.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but those things didn't go away in 2014.
Right.
It's still here, buddy.
Stop. So I don't know why you would expect people, particularly people that are doing a girl power movie, why they would, like, because I'm talking about what her expectation was, not what it is, right? She's like, I expected this to be a girl power movie. I expected politics, but I didn't get the politics I expected. But for some reason, she wasn't expecting girl power politics. And I don't know why, or maybe the politics were deeper than what she was expecting them to be.
I don't get it, like, why are the, like, politics, like, not politics, maybe the messaging around men. Take the movie Oppenheimer, right? It's kind of serious, but the messaging, that's acceptable even today, you know, even with the controversy it comes today with, you know, with the nuclear nukes and stuff. But for some reason,
Russia,
on the opposite spectrum, it's Barbie, and that's not acceptable. Misogyny has not gone away. Patriarchy has not gone away. It's like people are like, can we just brush it under the carpet, please? It's too much for us to bear. And it's like, nah, buddy, it's gonna stay in your face till you deal with it. Some things need to stay in your face till you deal with it. And it's good that it's making you uncomfortable and that you don't like it too much, because nobody likes it too much. And it's still like there. So, yeah. So,
that's one of the things that I do find a little bit kind of questionable. It's like, what has changed between 2014 and now? When you're talking about, like, women in politics or female power within politics. You know what's happened? We've been losing abortion rights. So why wouldn't the rhetoric get more? Why wouldn't the politics be more? That's the appropriate response. That's the right response. That's what you should be. The fact that I still think women have been too nice. Women are being nice.
We are still being we're still being like nice, man. We're being very nice.
Like, why? Like, you literally just had a president that got in after he said he just walks into women's change rooms and grabs them in their genitals. Like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Trump
like,
would not have succeeded during women's suffraging. He would have had his house fucking gotten Molotov cocktails thrown at it.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding? Like, women are being nice. Women got some of the things that they were asking for, and they were like, okay, we'll back off and we can ease into some other stuff. And in doing so, it's turned into, well, you don't get these rights anymore. What do you think is gonna fucking happen? What the fuck do you expect? Bitch. I don't get it. It's just like, I swear to God, it, like, from like what she was saying here, I just watched Pearly Things talking about some shit, and so, like, women who kind of present these arguments and are like, oh, well, these women are just, like, so crazy with what they're saying, and, like, it doesn't make any sense, and we have equality, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you are completely missing the restriction of rights, the lessening of rights.
Showing.
Well, and besides even just those, like, basic facts of the matter that you're conveniently ignoring, you are now also trying to, like, painting, like, what is a normal reaction as an extreme. Like when we watched, I looked at
gaslighting.
What's the good one? The Good Morning one. What's it called? Like with Whoopi Goldberg. It's like one of the morning shows. Yeah, it was like The View, and they had one of the women's rights activists from back in the day on, and they were like, well, you know, you do post and you protest, but, like, what else can you really do? And she responded with, well, murder's an option. And they were like, oh, well, you can't say that.
Jane Fonda said that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it was Jane Fonda. And they were like, well, you can't say that. And she's just like, they were berating and gaslighting her. And I'm like, no, that's true. Like, if you can't pretend that, like, people won't kill each other over things. They'll absolutely will. And you can't just wash history as if that's not what did happen. And so, like, it's just this weird, and it almost comes off as misogynistic to be like, well, women won't riot. Women can't do anything by, like, showing any sign of force. And it's like, just because women are being nice to you doesn't mean you should assume that they can't kick the shit out of you.
You know, it's interesting because, like, back in the spring, we had a lot of protests, and, you know, people were talking about, like, how scared they were because of the protests, and I was like, you're scared of a bunch of women and teenagers that don't have guns. Okay.
Right. It's like the Black Panther protest when they had all the, like, the gun laws got a major overhaul when a bunch of black people were holding fucking weaponry and protesting. They were just standing there. They didn't even they weren't marching. They walked up, they stood there, they stood in rows, and then a bunch of laws changed around who was allowed to have weaponry. And all the gun laws. And for some reason the white nationalists didn't have a problem changing the gun laws and putting in restrictions then.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway, Shoe's surprised.
And then we
about
benefited from those in the 90s and the early 2000s, and then we let them all expire, and now we have to deal with this whole, oh, well, they're trying to take our guns. I'm like, you didn't say that back in 94.
Yep. And it's so funny, the bigotry is oh, they're taking away our guns. They care about children, right? They care about children. So that's why abortion was banned. But they won't ban the guns.
They care about fetuses.
Children are getting killed in the schools, but they won't ban the guns. So this bigotry, this hypocrisy is no, you don't care about the children. No, please. It's all about controlling women. That's it. That's all it is. Don't pretend. Fuck off.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's oh, sorry. Anyway, back to Shoe. Shoe was expecting these politics and then was surprised by these politics. And to me, it comes off as she's surprised by how smart these politics were. That's the way this is reading to me. She expected surface level and got something deeper than what she was expecting.
The type of shit that's if women were in positions of power, everything would be better. And it's the whole military-industrial complex is run by women. Italy just elected a far-right female prime minister. A shit ton of people in our government are women.
What's the percentage?
Yeah.
Because we had this argument last time when we saw Ben Shapiro bring that up. Ben Shapiro brought up that Barbie has 2 women in the 6. And it's great. You've missed the point. In a thing that's geared towards women, run by women, the number that they're getting is fucking not the majority. Also, I'm gonna press X to doubt to say the entire industrial military complex, because I'm... What does that even include? American industrial military complex.
Think about this, our Supreme Court. We've had 6 women on it, give or take.
Never at a
definitely
time.
6.
Never at once.
Total ever.
Yeah.
Sandra Day O'Connor, RBG, Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Amy Coney Barrett, and Ketanji Jackson Brown, the new one. So that's 6, and I might be missing 1 or 2. But now that I'm at 6, I'm I don't know who else. I'm counting it on 2 hands. I can count this on my fingers. Out of how many justices we've ever had, and how many of those have been Republican nominees, and how many of them have been Democratic nominees. We're at 2 and 4.
And if you happen to recall, over when we did that time of the month, 2 months ago, we talked about women interrupting men and men interrupting women, and we looked at some of the studies that had looked at how often the justices were getting interrupted by other justices, and the number increased exponentially when there was a woman justice. It's insane. So, there's a nuance here that I think is just being completely dismissed. On top of that, okay, so I pulled up the expression military industrial complex describes the relationship between a country's military and the defense industry. So she is saying that America's military is run, and their defense industry is run by women. That was her claim.
No.
So, let's see. I'm going to keep reading. So it's the military and the defense industry that supplies the military, seen together as a vested interest with which influences public policy. Driving factor behind the relationship between the military and the defense-minded corporations is that both sides see benefit, one side from obtaining war weapons and the other from being paid to supply them. The term is most often used in reference to the system behind the armed forces of the United States, where the relationship is most prevalent due to close links among defense contractors, the Pentagon, and politicians. All those women.
Yeah.
We have never had a female Secretary of Defense, and we have only ever had one black man as Secretary of Defense as of currently. Every other Secretary of Defense in the U.S. has been a white man.
So, I know she showed something on the screen. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
Oh god, did it have patriarchy? The type of shit that's like, if women were in positions of power, everything would be better. And
that's not what it said anyway, because it was Barbie Land. We're going back to it. It was Barbie Land, and the Barbies had jobs that they were good at because they were Barbies and they are perfect at those jobs because that was the design. But if you had somebody if you had a literal doll that you designed to be president, and so their thing is that they are the best president that could possibly be from an ideological standpoint, whether they were a man or a woman would be irrelevant, because the whole point is that you have now idealized the perfect president because it is a doll.
And also, like, it's like, what I take it as so far as you have told me, it's like as if gender shouldn't matter. If someone's good at it, but for some reason, when it comes to U.S. politics, if you're a woman, you do not qualify to be a president of the United States. Vice president, maybe, yeah, but not the president. So, and you see all around the other parts of the world, in third world countries, there are women prime ministers, prime minister presidents, you know, who are head of the armed forces. So, yeah, it's like. That's why I keep saying America is just like a third world country, or is going to become a third world country, but they'll just have like better clothing and stuff. That's it. That's all it will be.
Debatable on that one even.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just pulling this up real quick. I pulled up the article that she's got linked. Because citation needed. I'm not, like, I can't let that kind of a statement just fly. I need more than what you're giving me here. So here's the article. It says the military industrial complex is run by women. The CEO of 4 of the 5 biggest defense contractors are women. Watch this person break down who is running North Corp, Grumman, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Boeing's defense wing, and weapons negotiation for the United States. This is as of January 3rd, 2019. But there's no article. It's a video. Not all of these even say this. What is this one? CTS, CEO, President and CEO, Defense, Space and Security, Boeing. So they're not in charge of Boeing. They're in charge of this division of Boeing. Under Secretary of State Arms Control and Intel Security, and Under Secretary of Energy Nuclear Security.
Also, that's outdated for Boeing Defense. Ted Colbert has succeeded Leanne Carrot? I don't know. As of
Cartier.
March.
As of March. Oh, yeah, this is dated as of 2019.
Yeah, so...
But two of these are
one of the 4 down, so I don't know.
So one of the 4 down, but also 3 of these were not in direct control anyway. In charge of a branch versus actually in charge.
It's also interesting because, like, defense contracting and, like, any type of federal or state contracting is decided on by the people who are either in, like, Congress or in charge of those departments. So that would be a call for the Department of Defense for the Congress, who is mostly...
men.
What?
Yay!
Right. Yeah.
So like, but
I love I said right, like I was actually like a teacher.
Even if, and even if you're to do this, which I'm willing to give some of this, right? I'm willing to grant that there are more women than maybe what you expected, but what you expected was 0.
Yeah.
That might be part of the problem. The thing is like, yeah, women can be warlords too. Yay, feminism.
Margaret Thatcher.
Siggy for 200 said, how the F did we get from Barbie to the military-industrial complex? Also, why is these people so bad at citing sources? Man, I don't know. Because their sources don't actually match up. It's almost like she's gone
don't want you to fact check.
Well, they're straight up pre-COVID, too, right, at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm pretty sure we can say pre-COVID slash post-COVID.
Pre-COVID. Yeah.
I also kind of want
to find something.
Yeah. I also kind of want to throw in addition here, they said 4 of the 5 biggest defense contractors, but only 3 of them are there, and then Boeing, and the other ones are under the 2 of them are under the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Energy.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of them are already out. One of them is President and CEO Defense, Space, and Security in Boeing, who is gone now. Mm-hmm. And the other 3 are CEOs, so can I get a reference? Because there's no article here. There's nothing for me to fucking read. So it's just this 28-second clip that's here that's for this. So, like, now I need to go in and look at every... Like, I have to check all 3 of these to see if they're even actually within the top 5 of the defense suppliers for the military.
Looks like she Googled something and this popped up and she just copy-pasted it.
Period.
Hold on, let's find out. Let's hear what she said.
Oh god, did it have patriarchy? The type of shit that's like, if women were in positions of power, everything would be better. And it's like, the whole military-industrial complex is run by women.
She said the whole military-industrial complex, and then cited something that says the 4 of the 5 biggest defense contractors are women, and that's not even right, nor is it up to date.
So, just sticking around on Google... Wikipedia has the top 100 military contractors from the U.S., and Bloomberg government has the top 200 federal vendors, defense contractors in the U.S. So it's kind of like 6 is a very small sample pool, and I know we're not just using 6.
Yeah, why? That's what I'm telling you. I think so. What she did was she Googled, and that's what popped up. And she copy-pasted it. That's it. She didn't even go and look at it. Or didn't go do further research. And that's very disappointing. That's very disappointing.
I'm pretty sure we're just calling bullshit on this statement. Not only just as, like, such a massive... I know she's probably being hyperbolic to say that the entire military... Bullshit! But even if you look at what she cited, and also, as you look at more of the specifics and nuances of what she's actually cited... It's a 28-second clip.
Yeah, that doesn't cut it, man.
From 2019.
Girl. Yeah, girl, no, that doesn't cut it. Also, it's like she's saying that because patriarchy, there's no patriarchy because women are number one, that women are in charge of
or have any power.
Have any power, so there's no patriarchy. Or there's too much patriarchy. I don't get it. Like, why are you making that comparison? I don't get it. And also this I think so it's just a straw man to say, oh, the movie wants to say that if women do something, it's better, and then switch to military contractors. It's like, we know military contractorship is no good in any way. Man, woman, in any way, it's never good. It's overpriced, it's stupid. And it's just a way to just like gobble up money. That's what it is. I don't know why would you bring that up as an example.
It's the best excuse, right? It is because there are women in power, therefore there is no issue. And it's like, no, women have to exist in the system because we exist. And so because we exist, we have to exist in the system by necessity. And so by necessity, it is guaranteed that there will be a woman that you can find somewhere in a position that holds some power, no matter how oppressive the situation is, especially if you like slowly expand your pool more and more and more until you happen to find something that you can cherry pick out, Shoe.
It's also like her bring... if I may, her bringing up like, oh, this certain country chose this woman as the far right, their whatever
Italy
leader or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You mean the one that got caught, like where the dude was showing Tifa porn in Congress? That one?
So again, you said far right. You should already know that women who support far right, they're already perpetuating patriarchy. You should know that. Why are you bringing this up? This is so
She
stupid.
basically just said, hey, guess what? Italy has their own Ann Coulter. No patriarchy.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck.
I had a friend tell me one time that he was more liberal than me, and I was like, okay, bold claim, go on. And
Continue.
one of his reasons was that he wants women in charge of everything. And I was like, that doesn't make you a feminist, and that doesn't necessarily make you a liberal either, because women like Marsha Blackburn exist. I don't want her in charge of anything. I would much rather have Chuck Schumer.
That's actually sexist.
They're both senators.
Because what your friend is saying is actually sexist, because he's assuming and implying that all women would be good at something or better at something because they're women. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the problem. This is the same reason,
because they are the softer sex.
No, this is the same reason why, like, stereotypes about black dudes' dicks being huge is still bad. Like, it might be considered a compliment.
Or that they run fast.
Right, it's still like, no, you can't. Their generalities are fine. The thing that is not fine is when you take that generality and blanketly apply it to any individual that sits in that general. So you could say, hey, you know what, generally, women are very, like, emotionally mature, so they handle children better. And you could say, okay, generally, yeah, sure. But if you say, therefore, any woman I meet, I treat as if and have this expectation, then that's where there's the problem.
I don't get it. Why some people don't get these nuances? I just don't get it. Like, why don't... Yeah, it's like, such superficial stuff.
Yeah, and it's a totally, like, it is one thing to be like, oh, this person fits into this stereotype. Of course they do. You know, it's like,
sure,
I'm a girl and I love Barbie. Like, wow, what a stereotype. You know? Okay. But it's different to be like, oh, so you're a chick, so you love Barbie? Like, that's not cause and effect. Like, what?
Right.
We just elected a far-right female prime minister. A shit ton of people in our government are women.
No, they're not.
How's that all working out? The film opens up with a...
Yeah, exactly. I don't want them in charge.
How's that working out?
That was Lauren
How's that working out?
To imply that it's not... Okay, there's a major issue with that. There's a major issue.
Chesh is like, oh, fuck, man.
Okay. All right. So the picture she posted was of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, right? Both of which are far-right extremist women.
Mm-hmm.
So then the problem that Shoe is indicating here is not an issue with women, it's an issue with far-right extremism. So why, Shoe, are you perpetuating something that you're indicating that is clearly an issue and implying it to all women? Why are you being a bitch?
Yeah,
that's very dishonest.
The existence of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and like
are examples of the problem.
Anyone in those camps is very like, I do not support all women. Some of you bitches are dumb.
Right.
Yeah. And like I am not the person who looks at my candidates and says, oh yeah, the woman, I'm gonna vote for her. I'm gonna be like, okay, what are your policies?
Right.
Yeah. We literally just had a special election where I voted for a man over a woman because she has no policy. She's liberal. She has no policy.
Yeah. There's a woman out in, I believe it's Alberta. She's currently she's holding the seat for Alberta for Canada. She doesn't think climate change is real. She's fucking crazy.
No.
No! You know who else doesn't think climate change is real? Ramaswamy. And he's insane.
Oh God. God damn it.
We have been live for an hour. I think we're going to take a quick break here. This is a good pausing point because I'm pretty sure my brain just imploded from her just doing everything that says these things are a problem and extremism being the problem. Even if you want to say like it's liberal extremism, or I'll even grant you that. I'll grant you like extremism is a problem by definition because it is extreme. And so the extremes do not look the same on either side. However, to get extreme on like a liberal side, you're talking about like you'd have to be doing something equivalent to what is the extreme conservative side. So if the extreme conservative side is bombing fucking abortion clinics, then the equivalent to extreme on the liberal side would have to be bombing factory farming.
Yeah.
Trey Crowder has a very good skit where he talks about the extremes on both sides. And he's like, yeah, you know, but there are different kinds of crazy. One is, well, if you eat enough kale, you'll be able to talk to dolphins. And the other is let the brown babies starve.
Yeah, and so they're still not equivalent. They're still not equivalent in the results of what you're going to end up with. Right? So even extremism matching is going to be a problem, period. And to what extreme is going to change on that result. However, like, cult mentality is bad no matter where it's stemming from. That's not a good way to make decisions. But if you're going to sit here and say that extremism, and she specified conservative, is bad, it's not bad because they're women. Those women are projecting and spouting out the same talking points that you get from extreme conservatives, women or not. And so the issue is not because they're women. Where's your AOC example, Shoe?
See, that's what I was saying, right? I was saying, I hope she's consistent. She's not consistent. Nope. Her arguments are so disjointed. Like, come on, girl. I expected better from you.
And it's like I said last week, like, there are certain criticisms of women in power that are inherently misogynistic. Like, if we're going to look at their bad policy and just completely gloss over it to talk about how ugly she is, whether she is or not, that's misogynistic. Get to the policies. Talk about why they are wrong. As
whether
opposed
or not
to,
you want to, I don't give a shit.
They can't do this.
I don't give a shit if you want to bang her or not. That is not the question. I don't care about how your dick feels. Stop it.
And it's one of those where, like I hate Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for example. I think she has really bad policy ideas. I don't think she was good for Arkansas, and I think she was a horrible press secretary. I've got issues with her as, like, you know, in her resume.
Right.
And also she's ugly, but that's an afterthought.
That's besides the point! Siggy for 200 said, if you, quote, if you are a feminist, you want women to control everything. Logic is a good indicator of the intellectual level of the people we're trying to engage in a conversation. That it seems it's too complex for them to handle. You're not wrong. And I'm gonna try and pronounce your name. I think it's Schutz? Schulz? If it's Schulz, I apologize. Let me know. But they said, what about the extreme lukewarm middle of the road or the fence crowd? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mean the enlightened centrists?
Die on the moderate hill?
Yeah.
Or the centrist hill? Who
No.
There's the trans ideology should not exist.
Yeah, that's definitely the lukewarm.
And that's fine.
Pretty
it's
right.
Fine to say that. Yeah. It's fine to say
something
like that.
We're going to take a quick about 5-minute break, so we will be right back. We're going to go get drinks, go to the bathroom, go get a snack. I'm getting another beer. I already drank. I'll be back in a minute.
I need a snack. Okay.
Barbie.
Yeah, alright, we're back. Monia's slow. I don't know what's going on with her. She takes forever. Monia, get a faster coffee maker. I say as all I had to do was run downstairs and grab a beer. I want to take this moment to thank everybody for joining us so far today. This has been a lot of fun. Barbie month has probably been some of the most fun we've had on Dump Pick Friday in a while. Probably since the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was hilarious. Speaking of amusing things I'm gonna be doing in the future, Netflix came out with a series that I cannot wait to rip into tiny little confetti pieces because I expect that it's a piece of shit. Netflix came out with a Heard versus Depp documentary. So I'm probably going to be watching that on Twitch as soon as I definitely don't pirate it. Definitely not going to be pirating anything. That is definitely not something we do here. Oh, there she is. Welcome back. Don't forget to like and subscribe and go follow these lovely people at their junk down below. Everything is linked in the description. I gotta add Abby back into the thumbnail again. I made a bunch of thumbnails and then I forgot to change 2 of them. I'm a potato. I have the brains of a dumb person. All right, back. Has everybody got their stuff? What'd you get? Did you get good snacks?
I got some pepper jelly that my mom made last Christmas and some crackers to eat it with.
Ooh,
also,
nice,
I think it was
nice,
last
nice,
Christmas.
nice.
It may have been 2 or 3 Christmases ago.
It's fine.
It's basically pickled. So, oh well, if I die, you know why.
Nobody
jelly
dies
daughter.
from pickles, man. Come on. Pickles.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just
just
getting
wondering
another
how
cup of
many
coffee.
ER stories there are about somebody shoving a too old pickle into their asshole.
Oh, fuck.
Not me. I'm worried about food
There-
poisoning. I do have vinegar if I end up getting sick, though. So, and the last time I had food
Big.
poisoning.
I think so there was this TikTok challenge where people were drinking the pickle juice a lot. Tons of it. I don't know, was it?
I like pickle juice, but not a ton of it.
Yeah.
I like pickle juice
Yeah,
too.
it was a challenge to put it in a big fucking glass jar or
It's
something
just
like that and drink
vinegar.
all of it in one go.
Ew. That sounds unpleasant. Have you
Yeah,
ever
it
tried
can put you in the hospital.
pickle juice shots?
So, Old Smoky Moonshine makes a moonshine soaked pickle, and you can when you go do tasting things of this, it'll slice up the pickle, and you can get a little tiny shot glass of the pickle with the moonshine juice kind of just in it. So you get more or less a solid shot of pickled juice moonshine, and it's delicious. It's one of my favorite things they make is the pickles.
That sounds so good. Well, I know where I'm going next time I go on a trip. Oh
Nashville,
my
baby,
god!
we'll take you there.
All right, hit play on this because now I'm gonna be damn.
Reference to 2001 Space Odyssey. Little girls are seen playing with baby dolls as the narrator tells us about how, before Barbie, all little girls got to pretend to be were mothers and nothing else, until a giant Barbie appears and they smash their dolls. Now, keep the intro in mind, because we'll get.
I like her super cute, outfit changes.
So what's our
Outfits are
timestamp
cute.
on this right now?
Just under 5 minutes.
So full respect that it took her 5 minutes to get into the actual movie where it took Shad 45.
Yep.
Get back. Barbie
Props.
World is depicted as what I like to call a dystopian utopia. Barbie essentially lives in a pink hell world. Every day is exactly the same. Everyone is perfect.
If
they
you
feel
hate
no
pink,
pain.
sure.
Or if you're not a doll.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it would likely be a hell world for a human, right?
Also, I think
Yeah.
it's funny that she immediately says, it's a hell world because every day is the same. Most of our days are exactly the same because we
This is
get
true.
up, we go to work, we come home, we panic over what to make for dinner, we make dinner, we shower, we go to bed. You get into that corporate grind or whatever, and every day is exactly the same, except it's gray and boring and dull. I would much rather have the corporate grind world be pink and fun.
One of the things
Yeah.
that I think have been one of the greatest disservices to us as a species has been a lot of the industrialization of clothing, because everything looks the fucking same. Bring back
Women
the
don't
70s.
get pockets. We still don't get pockets, for fuck's sake. What's the point of industrialization?
A forever long rant about clothes and the clothing industry, fashion industry, and not even not even touching Yves Saint Laurent and Chanel and those. I'm not talking about the fashion houses. I'm talking about the ready to wear fashion that everybody gets.
Yep.
I could sit here for probably 3 hours just on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to do that one day, but it is not this day.
Not today.
I'll press play. Put a pin in that one.
At age, they have no need for food or drinks or real showers. They party every night, wake up, and do it all again. The vibe is very much Stepford Wives, The Neighborhood from Edward Scissorhands, and that one episode of Black Mirror. The Kens are...
Why? What is giving you that vibe? They all live in Barbie dream houses, and they're some of the houses are a little bit different because that was what Mattel was putting out.
I have a Barbie castle and a bright orange, 70s edition beach house for Barbie up in my mom's Barbie Land playroom.
All of these... Oh, so the movies she's listed, right? The Stepford Wives, your... Oh, well, what was it? In Living Color, I think, is one of the other ones. The ones I'm talking... Oh, sorry, Pleasantville. They all have...
I saw it one time.
They have an undercurrent of something is wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This movie doesn't have that. The Barbies are dolls living in pretend doll land.
And
all those are humans in real world, and this is just a Barbie, or Barbies in their, like Chesh said, in their Barbie land, very different. Oh god.
It's been a long time since I saw Edward Scissorhands, and I've only seen it maybe twice in my life because I don't really care for it. But my memory of that movie is that
twice, 3 times,
the houses are cookie cutter to show that Edward is so weird and so out of
suburbia.
It's not this is Uncanny Valley, something is wrong. It's just these are all the same. These are normal suburban people
and you're different
who like things that they are familiar with, and here walks in a dude with scissors for hands.
Right, it's you're different and that's gonna be a problem. But the thing was the town folk in Edward Scissorhands were perfectly welcoming for the most part for Edward, except for one or two. He got a job cutting hair. It wasn't until he nicked somebody and started that people started to become afraid of him. They weren't afraid of him initially. There was I think one guy who hated him right out the gate, if I remember correctly. But it doesn't have the Stepford Wives undercurrent of this is the way everything is presented, not the way it is.
How is this Stepford Wives?
It's presented this way, and this is the way it is. It is a surface level. It is this. What you see with Barbie Land is what you get with Barbie Land. There's not an undercurrent of politics or power struggle or racism. They're Barbies. I don't know why the people that complain about this movie are just totally grasping the concept of they're dolls.
Yep.
Just completely cocked and subservient to the Barbies. They just exist in the shadow of the Barbies. Just an entire subclass of simps, just like you guys. Barbie World is completely run by women. President Barbie, Dr. Barbie.
It's not run by women. It's run by Barbie.
Barbies, yeah.
Barbie Land. How do they miss? It is a huge plot point in the movie that Barbie Land is Barbie Land.
I
now
think
it's
it is
Ken
so
Land.
That everyone is oh yeah, it's run by women, or any variation of that statement, when it's they spend a whole section of the movie going, hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie.
Yep. Because they're all Barbies.
Hi Barbie. Hello.
There's one other person in my immediate daily circle named Abby, and I never talk to her because she's on a different floor than me.
Yep.
And our members never work together. They just don't. So
Yep.
I never talked to her. So I'm never like, hi Abby, hi Abby, hi Abby. Like,
I've never run into another Chesh, and I haven't met another Victoria in my life since junior high.
I
And
know about 3 Victoria.
I've never met someone with my
yeah,
name.
and I never saw her again after that.
And like,
No,
you know,
oh god, no.
I feel like it's one thing if your name is Sarah and you're like, yeah, I know like 50 other Sarahs in my
know 2
immediate
Sarahs.
circle. So like,
Yeah.
I know so many.
I
walked into
I
high
don't want to
school one
talk
day,
about the number of
and I had
Steves
my
that
friend
I know.
Sarah, my friend Sarah, and my sister Sarah. Boom, boom, boom. I'm surrounded by Sarahs.
Mm.
So like, you know, there are those types of names where it's like, yeah, there's like 50 of us. So the hi Barbie may have just kind of been like, yeah, I mean that's what it's like being a Sarah. But no, not everyone's named Barbie. Like, how did you miss this?
I mean, the joke was, and then there's like everybody is Barbie, and everybody is Ken, and then there's only one Alan.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
There's only one of Alan. He's just Alan. Yeah, I'm still confused by that.
Yeah, that's the. So I just don't understand. They're trying to present this as if, well, this is like a dystopian nightmare, but if women ran everything, then everything would be perfect. Then it's not what they're describing as a dystopian nightmare, and you're projecting your interpretation onto it. So you're no longer observing the movie, you're observing the way the movie made you feel, which is fine. But if you need to misrepresent what the movie actually said to justify your feelings, maybe you should care more about the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's okay to have feelings.
The
like,
Simps line was
okay
funny, yeah, I'll give her that. That's funny.
It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel like, I don't think so. It's this way or that way. But then be ready to justify it. You're not justifying it. Now you've gone into the category of misrepresenting what actually, like Chesh said, you're projecting. So, again, why did you make this video? Why? Just
Because
to show
all the
off your studio or
conservatives are
something
making-
like that?
For some
I don't
reason,
know.
from my understanding of Shoe's content, Shoe does not like to be identified as a conservative. I don't know why, outside of that,
people
Why?
don't.
conservatives are crazy.
I know why. I think so. I know why. Because they're immediately compared to far-right extremists. Maybe that's why. And the far-right
Yeah,
extremists have taken over the
justifiably so.
narrative.
Right.
Have taken
And
over the narrative.
also,
Or the conservatives.
okay, right, but it's not just that they've taken over the narrative, it's that they're the majority of the talking
Yes.
points. That
Yeah,
the conservatives that don't want to be called conservatives are also putting out.
Yeah, like the fact. Okay, so the RNC debate Wednesday night. Of the 8 people on there, 6 of them were like, "Yeah, I'd support Trump if he was the nominee," including the man that Trump called to be killed.
Yeah,
Holy
Mike Pence.
shit.
Like,
Yeah.
excuse me.
What?
And so only 2 people were like, absolutely not. And one of those 2 supported him initially.
Yep.
And then didn't get what he wanted, so then he turned on him.
Yep.
So, like, this is not just this fringe element. None of them were on board with climate change. None of them were like, yeah, we're not gonna invade Mexico. Like, you know, it was just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like,
The wall.
this is the normal now. And there's like a very slim handful who are trying to take the party back, but with the majority of them being in this Trump camp, they're never going to do that. Sorry, Liz Cheney.
I can think of one off the top of my head that I'm like, there's one conservative that I know of, like as a Canadian who follows as much as I do. The one that I can think of who is like probably the most like proper conservative is Mitt Romney. And he's the magic underwear
he was
man.
the one. Yeah. And
Like,
I think so.
Mitt
He was
Romney
the
and
one
Liz
who was
Cheney
like.
are the first 2 that I think of. And like John Kasich,
Yeah.
who just kind of fell off the map after 2016.
Oh, yeah. So, like, this is a situation where it's like, Shoe, as much as you want to identify however you want to identify, fine, but if all of your talking points and all of, like, the things that you're trying to portray look like a duck and talk like a duck and smell like a duck, you're a conservative.
It's like when I've heard libertarians talk a lot about how they're like, socially liberal, fiscally conservative, or whatever variation of that they want to present themselves as. But then when they start talking about policy, they're not actually very socially liberal, and I'm like, so you're a conservative who wants to bury the lead.
It's just odd to me for people who are so against people identifying themselves however they want to socially identify themselves are very, very forward about wanting to identify themselves a specific way, despite how they actually present their points and what their points actually are.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they're hypocrites!
Yay!
Weird! Alright, I'm sorry, Shoe. I don't mean to misidentify you, or misgender you, or mispolitically ideologue you, but if all your talking points are fucking conservative, you're a conservative. Because guess what?
Stand up for it, have the ball.
Unlike other people, you can make a choice. You can make a change in your life, and you can stop lying and misrepresenting situations. You can choose to just not... You can even just choose to not do that, and you would already be in the step in the right direction.
Yeah. It's also telling to open a video with Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Astronaut Barbie, and then there's Ken. And according to the movie, Ken only has a good day if Barbie notices him. Oh, and there's also trans Barbie, which I didn't even know she was trans at first. They never made it clear if she was trans Barbie or like the...
Maybe because it doesn't need to be made clear. Doesn't matter.
No, I'm calling bullshit. She just said that they don't make it clear whether or not she's trans Barbie. I'm gonna go earlier in her video where she shows that Barbie that Ben Shapiro's talking about right here.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. I see that.
This Barbie is a doctor. They also make it very clear in the movie they don't have genitals. She cannot be trans Barbie. This Barbie was never a Ken. You dumb fuck.
Uh-huh.
So, not only did you decide to say this and make this point, while also using this image, therefore you knew exactly what this Barbie was represented as in the movie, you bitch. Fuck off.
Oh, come on, man. Again, consistency, and...
I was so ready to be so nice to her.
Yeah,
we're still being nice to her. And that's where you get caught out, when your arguments are not consistent, and then Chesh says, yeah, you're full of shit.
I was so ready to be nice to her. I don't even think I'm being mean. I'm being a little bit mean. I'm being a little bit aggressive. I think that's the word I would use. I'm being aggressive.
Nah,
because,
I wouldn't even say that. You haven't been any more aggressive than you've been on the other ones, so...
This is true. That is true. I'm not more aggressive, but...
Oh, and there's also trans Barbie, which I didn't even know she was trans at first. They never made it clear if she was trans.
At least she doesn't misgender her. I'll give her that much.
Yeah.
That's more respect than Matt Walsh would give her.
Oh,
Barbie, or like the actress was just trans and she was just like a normal Barbie. I think the actress was just trans and she was just playing a regular Barbie, which is cool.
Yes.
Which is cool. Yes.
So why are you bringing it up?
What the fuck? Okay, hold on. First she says that there was a trans Barbie and I didn't know about it. But then she says, oh, it was someone... It's someone trans who was playing the
movie
Barbie.
didn't make it clear about whether she was a trans Barbie or just a normal Barbie, which is cool. You just threw a grenade and then was just like, I didn't just throw that grenade.
Just threw a grenade in a fucking sewer and then just like stood there and just like everything splattered on your face.
Also choosing to use her as the Barbie that you put at the beginning to represent like what you were trying to talk about and present like as a woke blah 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 blah, and then pretend like it was very clear that Barbies don't have genitals and she is Dr. Barbie. So you're just misrepresenting it and bringing it up. Why?
And
and what's the point?
He says like, oh, they didn't make a big deal about it, so like that's cool. The fact that there was even any portion of that where she was like demanding to know is very much like, oh yeah, we're gonna check on like, you know, teenage boys and girls' genitals to see if they're on the right sports team.
Right.
That's not your business.
Yeah. Or if whether a girl dressed as a tomboy in a ladies' bathroom is really a boy or not.
Mm-hmm. The absolute like entitlement to know what someone has in their pants or skirt. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I am so androgynous. I'm gonna get in trouble no matter what bathroom I use.
Yeah, and like,
Shush.
It's like, it's very just like, when you gotta go. Just go pee and mind your business.
Choose your character.
And it's such like a uniquely like North American problem because of like the way bathrooms are laid out. You know, if we want to talk about the architecture, but that was a conversation for another day. The point is like the way she brought this up, the way she utilized the clip at the beginning, like the picture at the beginning, and then tried to backtrack it to try to pretend that she wasn't.
It's fine.
Why would you put this in your video?
You edited
you had
this.
A time
this is a script.
Yeah, it's a script you wrote, and you sat down, and then you made.
Don't pretend we don't see you.
Yeah, like what the fuck is all this? That's what I'm asking. Why have you made this video? Like, okay, you're reviewing a movie, but you're full of shit. Oh,
Well, it makes sense because, like, what the fuck would even be the point of transitioning if you're always gonna be stuck playing a trans character? All the Barbies do all day, every day.
What? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Girl, you're so close. You're so close.
Okay, you bimbo. You fucking bimbo. She's blonde. She's wearing a blonde wig. That's what you're saying.
as none of us are blonde. So, like, do we need to unpack that?
What the fuck was that? Like all that whole paragraph. What the fuck was that?
She looks fabulous. She makes a great Barbie.
She's gorgeous.
She does a great job. She's funny.
Yeah.
Why does it matter if she played the role right? Isn't that something that conservatives like to say? Well, you know, as long as you do the job good enough and you've got the right credentials, there shouldn't be a problem. Then why are you making it a fucking problem?
Why the fact is being even mentioned here that she's trans, the actress is trans, and that somehow translates to her role in the movie? Like, what the fuck?
Why would you transition if you would only be ever playing trans parts?
Was she playing a trans Barbie? No, she wasn't playing a trans Barbie. She was playing Barbie.
No, she said that was unclear in the movie, even though it was completely clear in the movie, and your bigotry is just showing.
Your brain. You need to use your brains, you bimbo.
No, actually, stop. Stop thinking about it too much. It's just somebody playing a Barbie. You're overthinking it.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Little Mermaid, right? When they were like, well, Ariel's a redhead, and I'm like, she also has a tail.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like, she's not real.
Crab.
And
the
like,
only thing that I cared about,
evolutionarily, because mermaids are under the water, they wouldn't be like have melanin. And I was like,
are you fucking kidding me?
Evolutionarily,
have they seen
mermaids? Don't exist.
Yeah. Unless you're talking about manatees.
If you want to talk about evolutionarily, then you need to start talking about whether you're going to talk about humans or if you're going to talk about fish, because there are a lot of fish that are dark colors because it makes sense for them to be dark colors.
Camouflage, you! Have they ever heard of camouflage?
The only reason I cared about... The only reason I ever gave two shits about the hair color was like, well, you could translate it to another part of her body. I just really like that Ariel had red hair because she represented the Red Sea. And all of her sisters represented a different sea. That's why there's 7 of them. And like, but you can do that with other tools. You don't have to use red hair. I just didn't want to lose that aspect.
I got into an argument with someone on Instagram about that recently because it was because the 7 seas have changed based on which culture is actually like doing that, right?
Sure.
So it's like and someone was like dedicated to the idea that, oh, she has red hair because she represents the Red Sea. I'm like, she has red hair because she had to be visually distinct from Cinderella and Aurora.
Yes.
And it just happens to work out that way. But Disney made that marketing
Yeah, no, they
choice
designed
for
Ariel
money.
first. Yeah, they designed Ariel first, and then secondarily was like, this works, and utilized it. That's great. There's nothing wrong with going that direction and trying to do it that way. It was just a nice addition. Not only does it's not needed for the story. It's not relevant. It's a nice nod.
Originally she's supposed to be blonde anyway.
Right. And there's nothing, so like, that's just something I didn't want to lose. If it went away, I never even saw the movie. My opinion doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, just
so it's like,
it was so funny because this person was almost like dedicated to the, like, Disney was intentional about it. I'm like, intentional about the money, maybe.
That's Disney.
Intentional about what? Having something that was kind of clever in their kids movie.
Kids movie.
Wild.
Also, it's like as if like our girl here is disturbed that a trans person is able to play a seemingly female character without any seemingly female because
without her
Barbie,
noticing.
Yeah, without her noticing, and she's mad about it.
They can always tell.
Why does it matter if you can tell or not? What's the point? I don't get it. Why is it bothering you? Tell me. Tell Elmo. Fuck. Where's my Tell Elmo?
Tell Elmo. I didn't finish fixing Tell Elmo. He's still a little wonky, but
okay. I can fill in for.
Yeah, fuck them up.
I can fill in. I can fill in.
He's a fuckity Elmo. But I like. Why are you gonna make this a problem? Like, why are you bringing this up? What is and why? Because you used her at the beginning. You're basically just exploiting this woman at this point for outrage. But you're also trying to curtail what negative feedback you're gonna get.
But it's fine.
Like, but I didn't say it was a problem. It's like, no, you said it. You indicated that it was problematic, then said, but it's fine, as if anybody needed your approval in the first place. And then was just like flippantly mentioning what roles trans people should or ought to play. And what the
Especially
fuck?
A doll? A doll? A fucking doll?
With no genitals? Alright.
Yeah,
you know what I kind of like about this picture that we're looking at? How much this reminds me of Phoebe from Friends.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking that too, yes. And this is gorgeous. The hair are gorgeous. I love it. And the dress also is like on point.
Also, like her blush.
Look pretty.
Stellar.
Be Barbie.
Yeah.
Look pretty, be Barbie.
Compliment each other, give each other awards. It all just feels very fake and, well...
It's Barbie Land! What? Of course it feels fake.
It's like...
What do you mean give each other awards? No. They're the same awards that we give each other for, like, acting and writing, and, like, the award that's given out is a written award. You've missed the point. The point that was being made in those scenes is that Barbie accepted the award without apologies, acknowledging that she deserved it without any question, because of course she did. She's Barbie. If you look at any woman accepting any award ever, the speeches and the things that they say are like, well, yeah, you know, but there's like this indication of like that women accept awards reluctantly, and there's like 7 billion things to unpack and why that is and why that might be, some of which is patriarchy, some of which is like listed under like women not feeling confident or feeling like imposter syndrome because there ought to be somebody better than them out there to have received. Like, it's a grace that they've received this award rather than that they've deserved it. Barbie doesn't have that issue, and that was the point being made.
And it's always like, you know, I want to thank my director. I want to thank, you know, my husband for letting me have this lifestyle or whatever. Like, you know, it's in the who they thank, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And the director's fair. Like, most people do thank their directors, but like...
Yeah.
It's like
I want to thank my editor.
Women try to justify why they got an award, not like say, okay, yeah, thanks, okay, bye.
She's missed the point. She's like, oh, they give themselves awards as if those giving of awards is meaningless and a silly thing that the Barbies are doing.
Yeah,
we do that.
Yeah,
what she's also, doing like, she's making it conveniently superficial when she wants to, or dismiss something like, oh, they're giving each other awards, they're dolls, so it doesn't matter. But the trans lady though,
right?
Like, can you stay consistent for me, please? Because your hypocrisy is so showing up.
Yeah, but it's silly and ridiculous, and it makes it feel fake.
The thing that I think is so funny is she's talking about it feeling fake, and I'm like, what about the empty juice box and the shower with no water tipped you off?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the part that made it feel fake. The flipping the awards, not the feet that you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or the fake water
Everyone's
that Ken
pretty.
just runs into.
The fact that she
Everyone's pretty,
floats
you know?
down from her house and walks across the pool. What tipped you off that this was fake?
No, it wasn't like the houses being like Barbie dream houses with not proper walls or windows at all, where they could all see each other at any point in time and wave and say hi, Barbie. That was like Stepford Wife creepy, not just fake.
It's like as if like she's mad that a Barbie Land set is coming out very, very obviously fake. Why are you mad about that? I don't get
it's
it.
Supposed to be.
Why
it's
are
supposed
you
to be
making
plastic.
these points? I don't get it, man. Girl.
Plastic. At one point, the movie makes a point about how Mattel discontinued a pregnant Barbie and how they just want to ignore her and pretend she never.
No. Sorry, I'm gonna click this back. They don't just bring it up once; it comes up a couple of times. That's like it's a running joke.
A minimum of twice.
Yes.
Each other, give each other awards. It all just feels very fake and, well, plastic. At one point, the movie makes a point about how Mattel discontinued a pregnant Barbie and how they just want to ignore her and pretend she never existed. Don't look at her. Don't look at Midge. Look at all the doctors and astronauts. Look at all the girl bosses. Look over there. It was almost like the movie was making a point.
Oh, God.
I don't know. In Barbie world,
You couldn't figure out what the point was and you still put it in your video? Seriously?
Google
is
free.
This is...
Yeah, just...
Google is free.
Whatever.
What's the deal with Midge?
I would love to point out this little exercise that Shoe is engaging in, and it's called begging the question. She's giving you a bunch of reasons why it might be the case, but she's like, yeah, but I don't really know. So what are you supposed to take from it?
Then why are you talking about it? Why are you bringing it up?
No, that is why. It's a tactic. It's a tactic to imply to the audience what their conclusion ought to be without making a declarative statement that you have to justify yourself.
Also, the fact that she's like, oh, Mattel doesn't want you to look at Midge. Mattel doesn't care about Midge. They also say they don't care about Ken.
Yep.
So,
and it's
I don't
also
think they're trying to make a statement about don't look at pregnant women, because they'd also say don't look at men based on their commentary on Ken.
Yeah, and they literally, Mattel literally says, one of the lines is, we don't care about Ken. We're not worried about Ken.
And also, like, she could have gone online and searched why Midge was discontinued. She could have done that. She would have found that info.
Well, and even in the movies, the movie says, all she had to do was watch the movie. The movie says, it was kind of weird to have a pregnant Barbie.
Yeah.
There's more to it. Yeah, and there's more to it. But
I don't get it, like, you could have gone online, you could have Googled it, that why was Midge, the Barbie Midge was discontinued. You would have found the answer, and for some reason, either you did that or you didn't, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I know what you did, but that wasn't brought up at all. But you will bring it up that it was discontinued, and then at the same time say as if it's the fault of the other Barbies that she was discontinued.
Oh yeah, because it's women's fault.
It's also interesting because, like, I would imagine that she's going to say that Mattel discontinued it and leave it there. Like, Mattel is the bad guy. And they're a corporation,
yeah, she's
they are.
moving off.
However, they didn't discontinue it because of their own, like, you know, oh, well, we made a pregnant Barbie and oopsies, we don't want that. We don't want to encourage, like, it was because the market was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Right. And why was the market, what the fuck? What year did Midge come out, and what year did Midge get discontinued? This is all important information that might be viable if you want to say that this movie is making a point, and then you can decide what that point might be. And then here's the thing. This is what I mean by, like, being dishonest about this shit. You might disagree with the message that the movie is putting out. That's fine, but you're lazy, is what I'm saying. Because if you want to disagree with the movie, then you need to accurately represent the point that the movie is making. Because there should be no problem if you disagree with it for you to be able to articulate why you disagree with whatever the movie is saying. So you can say that, hey, listen, I don't like the representation because I don't think this is a very good, accurate representation. I understand that it's supposed to be, like, a little bit extreme and it's supposed to be like Barbie Land, so it is idealistically. But if we were to take this and we were to apply it, you could then be like, this would still be just as problematic, blah, 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 with whatever point you think you're fucking making. And then you could have a conversation. The problem is every person we've watched so far is not capable of even representing accurately what the movie is saying. They have to misrepresent it because they know, because the movie outplayed them. Because if they accurately represent the movie and then say that they disagree and why they disagree, they're gonna look like fucking assholes.
Yep.
It's also kind of funny because, like, the fact that Midge is a pregnant Barbie and is the only Barbie that is, like, technically a mother at any point. Yes. Because, again, Barbie is always, like, a big sister. We never see her as, like, exclusively just a mom.
Yeah.
My sister and I were talking about this the other day with Barbie Fairytopia, how one of the Barbie characters, Dandelion, has a mom. She mentions, I gotta go, like, check in with my mom. But Elena, the Barbie, does not have a mom. She lives by herself with her little puffball. No other character has a parent that we can find. And so it is kind of weird in that way that, like, YA stuff is, where it's like you have to remove the parents in some way, whether that's the character is adopted or they're at boarding school or the parents are dead, like, whatever it is, you have to remove the parents because otherwise these kids can't go on this adventure.
For anybody who doesn't know, YA is young adults. Sorry, continue.
Fair enough. So it's sure, even if Mattel was trying to, like, say something about motherhood, it could honestly just be a joke about their own movies and the lack of parents.
Right.
Because and in Barbie Diaries, the one that's, like, the most high school, I don't think we see her parents ever.
No, there's a whole thing here that is completely also missing. Midge is living beside stereotypical Barbie. She's not one of the discontinued Barbies or Kens that live in, like, buttfuck nowhere that we never see. She's not, like, TV Barbie. She's not, like, Magic Earring Ken. She is not, like, Skipper, who does not make an appearance in this movie at all. She gets brought up, but she doesn't appear. Midge is
definitely not, like, growing up Skipper.
And center in this movie. In, like, her placement within the Barbie society. So, bullshit. We got a super chat from Godless for 5 that says, these right-wingers who are triggered by Barbie are aware they're not obligated to watch it, right? Personally, I agree.
Except for Ben Shapiro. His producers had to drag him to it.
Yes. I think as individuals, they're not required to see the movie. I think money-wise and with the point this movie makes, I think if they want to push their bullshit, they have to react to this movie. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to misrepresent it to their audience, because otherwise their audience is going to see it and have to, like, process what it says on their own, and they can't have that.
Barbie starts to have an existential crisis because she notices she has cellulite and flat feet and starts to have thoughts about death. She finds out this is happening because the girl who's playing with her in real life is sad, so she has to go to the real world and make that girl happy. So in the real world, Barbie is immediately
kind of. That's what they lead you to kind of believe, but that's not what's actually stated. But I digress. I might be nitpicking.
It's a very oversimplified summation of that plot point.
Yeah.
Sexualized and catcalled, and she even gets sexually assaulted at one point. But Ken, coming from a world where he didn't get any attention and was constantly fighting for any kind of attention, was loving the attention. Ask any man the last time a stranger complimented them. Men remember, like, every single compliment they've ever received in their lives.
Bros
I know the men watching this, there's
all
always
the
that
time, girl. What world do you live in? What world do you live in? Men give validation to each other all the fucking time, especially in front of women.
It is a lot of a different kind of validation, though.
Yeah.
What kind of validation are you talking about? Or attention, whatever. In what
well, okay, so if you walk into a store, I think we talked about this before. If you walk into a tech store and you go in with a man as a woman, the technician or the customer service representative will ignore you as a woman and talk to the man, assuming the man knows what they're talking about and assuming the man is making the decision about the situation. What about that is not validation? What about that is not a compliment? Because there's an assumption that they know about the tech.
I was getting a quote for bodywork on a car, and I submitted my inquiry under my boyfriend's name.
Yep.
Because I figured if they were going to upcharge, it would be to me, not to him.
I worked factory, and when I was in between jobs, I applied for jobs, the same jobs with the same resume, because I was applying electronically, right? So I was applying electronically, so I would apply to everything twice, or I would apply to everything twice, and I would change my name from Victoria to Vic. Vic got callbacks. Victoria did not get callbacks.
Oh my god.
And when I answered the phone, they were like, hey, can I speak to Vic? And I'd be like, yeah, speaking. And then they would be taken aback and be like, oh, yes?
Silent radio noises.
Womp womp.
Honestly, thank goodness for Hunger Games. I could start going by Gale.
Right? I do not want to, I do not want to dismiss that men do not get, or at least they do not feel like they get the same validation that women get. But they also, there tends to be this assumption that the validation that women get is something that women wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem is, like, when women get catcalled or, harassed on the street, like, hey baby, can I get that number or whatever, that's not a compliment. But a lot of men think it is.
Yeah, or if somebody says, hey, wow, that's a really nice dress on you, and it's a man approaching that you don't know who they are or what they want from you, that's stranger danger. That's not just something I get to just enjoy. That's something that I have to be like, okay, why is this person for that? I need to draw this boundary line. Now I got 100 things that I now have to deal with.
Also, if I may add to that,
especially, like, if it's a dress comment, like, then... does this sentence end here, or are they about to say a, love to see it off you type comment right after? Like, where is the end of that sentence?
Yeah, where is it going? And also, if I may add on to that, men getting validation has been a status quo for a long time. So now women getting validation is something that's out of the ordinary for people like Shoe. And it's like, it's just normal. Men are still getting validation, but they just don't like it that women get a certain kind of validation, and they want that one. Women getting any kind of validation.
Take it.
In education,
you want it?
economics,
you want to get told?
social.
You want to get told on the subway when you're on your way to work, you're fucking exhausted, you haven't had your morning coffee yet, and somebody's like, hey, honey, put on a smile. You want that? Take it. It's yours. You can have it. And that person may or may not, may or may not see that person on the subway every fucking day, and they may or may not take the same train home from you, and you may or may not have to start being concerned that this stranger has taken an interest in you. Is that what you want? It's all yours.
You know how many years it took my
Or are you just going to assume that because you're a man, you'll be able to overpower the person? Okay.
And you know how many years it took for my plant manager, not my risk manager, because she's a woman. She's constantly, pushing me, to do good and better. But it took 1.5 years for my plant manager to say to me, "You're an intelligent person."
Oh my god. Do you want to talk about...
And you know what you're doing. And I'm like, bitch, I have like 6 years experience in this field. And
as
now
opposed to
you're going
it
to tell
being
me-
assumed. As opposed to it being assumed that it was in the first place.
Oh, I was looking
Not
for you to
excess.
confirm that for me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and not like an excess, that would be a compliment. Right, what you got was acknowledgement that should have been assumed to you, which was not because of your gender, right? So, like, men, it will be assumed that you know what you're doing when you're in the position, because it's assumed that you got the position because you knew what you were doing, right? For women, you don't get that. So for men, because they're assumed, the compliment that they get, that they're associating with what you got, which was acknowledgement, is that you're actually doing a great job. Thank you so much for the work that you've put in. That's not what you got. You know what you're talking about. Thanks, dipshit!
Thanks. I thought my master's kind of like implied that, you know, a master's in engineering kind of sort of implied that already, you know. I don't know.
I think too, the like compliments are kind of in the eye of the beholder, right? Like I know I'm pretty. I do not need to be told that I'm pretty as any type of validation. It is nice when I put effort into it. Sure, I'm not mad about being told that. I am mad when people think that that's the only compliment they can come up with. It's like, you know, if like you're not like other girls, you're so pretty, whatever. It's like I know.
You're insulting other women.
Else?
Why are you insulting other women?
You know,
to me,
but like
you think that's gonna mean something?
Like, but conversely, like I love being told I'm funny.
Right.
Like even if I've made like a really bad joke and I'm just laughing at myself, it's like I love being told I'm funny. That's a good compliment to me. It's like, thank you, I appreciate that.
I know, isn't it great?
And then they get mad.
Like,
and then they get mad when women say, "Oh yeah, I know that." I'm like, oh, how dare you not say, "Oh, thank you."
Welcome to the comedy club.
Say, like, yeah, no, I'm pretty
It's
like,
just the stuff that's
my
like...
sister was the funny one growing up, so it's like now I want to be told I'm funny too.
Yeah.
I don't want to be told I'm pretty. I already know that.
There are things that are like things that are actually criticisms that men think are compliments.
Yeah, like, so, not like other girls.
You would look really good with your hair up. If I'm not wearing my hair up, that's criticism.
Yeah.
That's not a compliment. You criticized the way I was currently wearing my hair.
Yeah. What's the problem now?
I had a you should never give that type of like feedback unless you are explicitly asked. Like, hey, do you think I should have my hair up or down? Like, what do you think?
Right. Now you're asking for an opinion.
Go nuts, baby. Like,
right.
But like I had a partner who would, you know, partner I use very generously here, that would just offer unsolicited advice. Like I wore a
which is
funky
criticism
lipstick one day.
Oh,
and he was like, I don't really like that color lipstick. And I was like, well, we're leaving, so too late now, motherfucker. Like,
any unsolicited advice
about his opinion. And I was like, well, I've already put the lipstick on. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not changing it. I don't care about that opinion.
I'm gonna change. If I go and change it, you're gonna bitch about how long it's gonna take. You're gonna go and complain when we get there about why it took so long to be here. Is because, you know, women take so long in the bathroom. But so one of the things too is like when you get to these kinds of complaints and compliments is that then the next step of the conversation is like, oh well, women are just so complicated we can't understand. And the answer is that you do the same thing and have the courtesy towards men. You just are lazy with women. Because you notice the way that men talk to each other and how they compliment each other. And, like, when they're giving criticism versus when they're totally conscious then. But suddenly, when it's women, it just turns off. They're like the same... Whatever you think is complicated with women, you're already intuitively doing it with men.
Yeah.
Inherently.
You know how to do it with men, but for some women, oh, she's got boobs, switch off.
Well, you're just not... Yeah. Well, the thing is like, you're just not cognizant of it. And you're not cognizant of the way you're complimenting and interacting with other men because you don't feel like you have to think about it. With women, you feel like you need to think about it, and now it's complicated because now you're looking to explain the behavior. And so when you're starting being like, well, this is no longer intuitive for me because that person has titties, now you're like, okay, well, now it's a lot of extra work because I'm not viewing this person as a human anymore.
Yeah, it's titties.
I was actually thinking about the, women are complicated thing yesterday. I don't know why I was thinking about it yesterday, but I was. And it's, just the idea that, like, okay, you're trying to get a gift for your girlfriend for Valentine's Day or whatever. What's her favorite flower? What's her favorite snack? These are two very simple questions that you should have figured out. Because if my favorite is daffodils, which mine is, and you get me a dozen roses, I'm not going to care. Because you were lazy. You said,
you got me a flower.
Roses. Oh, what's your favorite color of rose? Orange. I'd love to get orange roses, but if you just get me 12 reds, I'm like, okay. Neat. Thank you. Thanks, an avocado.
You got me stereotypical Barbie.
If you get me like, a box of chocolates and they have peanut butter in them, I'm not going to be pleased with that because I don't like peanut butter. And I usually lead with that. So if you give me something
not in the
peanut butter, then that means you totally weren't listening.
I love chocolate.
And I'd rather get chips and queso anyway.
There's literally all three different, just in this group. So, like, she doesn't like chocolate and...
I like dark chocolate.
Sorry, she doesn't like peanut butter. Manya likes peanut butter, but doesn't like peanut butter and chocolate. And I love peanut butter and chocolate, but I don't like chocolate that much. So if you're going to show up with snacks... Each one of us is going to appreciate different snacks, and depending on how well you... And to us, it's going to indicate either how well you know us or how much you care to, like, be indicative towards what you think we would actually like. She's a woman.
She should just like... Women like sweet stuff, so I'm just gonna take donuts. You're a woman. You should like this sweet stuff. Bitch.
If you bring me donuts, you better be bringing me the right kind of donut, because I only like 3 different donuts.
Yeah, I like.
I'll still eat it. I'll still be like, ooh, a donut, but like it's not the donut I like.
No, but it's like when they assume, like, oh, she's a woman, so yeah, let's take something sweet for them. I'm like, bitch, I'm hoping I could have some pickles right now, like Abby says.
Yeah, give me the moonshine pickles.
Oh my god. Alicia said my favorite flower is a water lily, so it's a bit hard to get me flowers, so I'll take whatever. The man ever went into a lake to get me a bouquet of water lilies, I'd married him on the spot. The man is a frog prince.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is a fairy tale dream, right?
What he's bought you is actually like he's bought you like one of those little mini aquarium tanks, and he's planted a water lily in it, so it's just like an ever blooming water lily that you can have in your house.
But no, I have been asked a remarkable number of times, hey, what do women want? And I'm like, I don't know, you should ask them.
Have you considered asking
which woman? Which woman? Do I know
women Women dislike each other. We asked a man.
Chesh, how many times?
Women say they don't.
I'll bring up something. How many times it has been when people are trying to communicate to you, they come to me?
Oh, a few times. Yeah. A few times. As if, for some reason, they also think that you're not gonna tell me. I don't know why they make that assumption. All right, let's go back to Shoe. We've gone like way off track.
Yeah, one compliment that sticks out in your mind. Maybe some lady complimented your shirt or your hair, and Ken is amazed that people are realizing that he exists. So clearly the movie is highlighting the isolation and loneliness men experience. Clearly. While Barbie is off to find the girl who is playing with the doll version of her, Ken basically gets red-pilled by a right-wing Little Dark Age edit showing the glory and triumph of men. Presidents, rock stars, wrestlers, mini fridge.
Yeah, except
I
that
think it's so funny that she said right wing when the video is of Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Bill Clinton shows, like, horses are not right wing. I'm pretty sure horses don't have politics. Cowboys, like, I mean, Reagan was there, I'm pretty sure, but, like, he's not getting a political position. He's getting the way the real world presents men as consistently, and how much more male content there is compared to women content. That's what it's highlighting.
and
Again, you
horses.
got it wrong.
And then he learns about the patriarchy.
Oh my god, is that
No, he doesn't.
the patriarchy?
Ken reads all of this feminist
Is that the
I want to know
mugshot?
who that was. Yeah, the mugshot. Yes.
literature, which tells him that men are in charge of everything and rule everything and can get away with anything. And the movie itself never really goes into anything else about patriarchy, so I guess that's what patriarchy is. So he walks into an office and asks for a job, and when the guy in charge is like, what are your credentials?
What else were you expecting for patriarchy? Explain.
Why wasn't this movie for women about men?
No. What else does patriarchy entail? Please tell me. Tell Elmo.
Why doesn't the childlike Ken understand all of patriarchy within 5 minutes of him watching propaganda?
It's
Weird.
almost
Why
like
are
patriarchy is not innate.
It's as if like we are not. Ken is a doll, first of all, who has very little experience in the world, and that scene kind of explains how little boys get like they see a snapshot of such things, and they get influenced by that,
John
and their
Wayne.
whole life, they just gets like surrounded by that. Their whole life becomes like that. That's what patriarchy does. What are you bitching about? What the fuck are you bitching about? Please tell me.
She's complaining that the movie was more complicated, and now she's complaining, like, in its politics, and now she's complaining that it was too simplified.
Which... Can you pick a lane, please?
The thing is that you can have both of those opinions. You can hold both of those at the same time and be consistent, right? You could say that, hey, listen, they overdid it in this area and underdid it in this area, and I think that it needed to be more balanced. But to do that, you would have to accurately represent the fucking movie.
Do you have any experience? Do you have a degree? And Ken is just like, well, I'm a man, shouldn't...
You just completely misrepresented the way that question was asked. And that mattered. But continue.
That be enough? So clearly, the movie was showing how ridiculous the idea of patriarchy is. Clearly, Ken decides to bring patriarchy back to his fellow...
She skipped the second half of that one, too. The second half of that was like, oh, I thought this was patriarchy and I could do whatever I want. And he says, well, it is. We just hide it better now.
Yeah, for some reason you missed all that. Why?
Weird.
Why?
Weird.
Like,
funny, that...
Now I have no charity left for this girl, seriously. I'm just like, I'm not even go. Oh, maybe she meant that. Nah. We're going the other way all the time now, because this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
To free his fellow brethren from the Longhouse. Meanwhile, Barbie meets the girl who is supposedly playing with her.
She receives a lecture from the teenage girl about how Barbie has ruined the world and actually is fascist. You get like this full lecture right in the middle of the film. It's truly awful.
Yeah, she's a kid.
Everything wrong with her culture. I hadn't thought about you in years, you fascist.
The scene could have came right out of a Daily Wire skit. The little girl wasn't being depicted as the good guy here.
And why should
Hey,
she?
girly?
She's a kid. Kids are brats sometimes.
Oh.
She was being depicted as rude and
Why should
ruthless
she be
and
nice?
cruel for
Hold
no
on.
reason. Compared to...
So girls should be
Teenagers-
nice?
No. Teenagers being ruthless and cruel and mean for no reason? They said that teenagers scare the living shit out of me. They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So sharpen your clothes and strike a violent pose. Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me.
Why?
Also, like,
Why is it that like? Is it because she's a woman? She's a girl that she's not supposed to act that way? Are women? Are girls are supposed to act a certain way, and you're surprised that a teenager has an opinion like all teenagers do? For some reason, the gender should butt in. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
wild that she's like, it could come out of a Daily Wire skit while she's using clips from a Daily Wire guy.
Yeah.
Wow, that was clever, right?
To happy, bubbly Barbie. The little girl is hyper woke. She calls Barbie, the main character, a fascist, and makes
She's not hyper woke. She's a teenager.
Yeah.
To be hyper woke, you'd have to identify what that means first and how you're representing it. And then you would have to actually demonstrate more than what a shitty teenager who's presented in the movie to be incorrect. Like, why are they so mad about this? They say this is wrong in the movie. The hyper woke position in this movie is presented as incorrect. Whatever.
Barbie cry. There's also a scene where the little girl says, "Look, it's that nutcase woman," referring to Barbie, and then the little girl's like, "Oh, sorry, I mean reality challenged woman," which shows again, clearly the character is supposed to be like woke and a joke. They eventually find out it's a little girl's mom who is playing with Barbie, and the mom is depressed. And honestly, every scene the little girl and the mom was in,
the mom is more than depressed. The mom isn't quite... That's not quite right. I think that's a little bit of a dismissal about what's going on with the mom. The mom is facing more of like a high stress, high anxiety problem.
That happens with single...
Mostly due... She's not single. Mostly due to her workplace.
I remembered. That's what's
not... Like, mostly due to her workplace and specifically her relationship with her daughter. That's what's stressing her out. She's not being stressed out by her husband, as far as we know.
So
her workplace is stressing her out a little bit, but the most straining thing that's going on that is causing her to do this and what's happening is the mother's relationship with the daughter. You know, the mom!
It's as
the
if,
thing
like,
the movie's not supposed to be talking about, motherhood.
Stress is very different from being depressed. Depression is a very extreme side. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Depression is a very extreme side effect of extreme stress. So for you to that's a very, very wrong comparison just to say because she's stressed, then she's depressed. And that's another thing that happens with women. If they are distressed, they say, oh, she's depressed. That happens all the time. So for you not to recognize that, either you have never gone through enough stress in your life, or you're, I don't know. Haven't you? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm talking to a
I don't know, she's got an attitude. Must be hysterical. Send her to the institution.
Yeah, I've never seen Shoe with an attitude.
Just fucking sucked. Like, it just became a different movie every single time they were on screen, and that movie sucked. I didn't really feel much empathy for them. It's implied they had a strained relationship through, like, a couple of flashbacks, but that's about it. It wasn't done very well, and, like, I didn't really care about this. I just found myself wanting to see what the Kens were up to. So Kenna...
Okay, so...
I mean, I don't blame her for wanting to know what all the hot dudes are up to.
It doesn't need to be over-explained because the, like, mother-daughter strain relationship as a daughter becomes a teenager is very common.
Right.
Like, it wasn't with me and my mom.
The specifics were not important. The specifics would have distracted because they are telling a general story within those characters. Not only are they not the main story, they are a side story that comes in about 50% of the way through the movie, give or take. Like, when you start actually getting to know them as characters and kind of what their relationship is like. But also, like, the strain is not an issue, right? It's not like, oh, my daughter is gay and I don't know how to handle that. It's not, oh, my daughter is acting out and I don't know how to handle that. It is just the natural stress of a child becoming an adult and the way that tends to happen in the real world. It doesn't matter what their specific issues are because they're trying to tell the story to a general audience and be as widespread as possible because that's not the main part of the movie.
Right. And she says, like, oh, every time they're on screen it becomes a different movie. I'm like, they're different characters with different issues. It's not changing the movie, it's introducing another dynamic.
Right.
Your little pea brain can't handle the complexity of the movie. It's not the movie's fault, or nor the women's fault, or nor the Barbie's fault.
Again, the movie was not... She complained that the movie was too specific, or too direct, or too much about one specific thing, but then everything she's complained about up to this point has been that it's too vague.
Maybe I just...
Basically, she wants it to hold her hand. She wants the movie to hold her hand.
Yeah.
She wants
watched
to
too many
take it either
crossover
too.
Disney
That's what's
shows
going
as a
on here.
kid, but like in the whole like these are different characters from different stories, in making a different movie. I'm like, I don't really get that because like I watched Jake Long and Lilo and Stitch together.
Yeah, why not?
I watched the Proud
That
Family
was
go on
not
vacation in
taken.
Hawaii and they deal with aliens. Like,
Yeah.
The patriarchy in Barbie world, which basically consists of mini fridges everywhere, sports, beer. He turns Barbie's dream house into
Horses!
Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa house. And it looks freaking
Well, how does he forget how do we forget the horses?
I love that she's the only one who has actually called it by the Mojo Dojo Casa house.
Mojo Jojo Casa house, yep.
Chad and Ben, neither of them actually called it that. They were just like,
Nope.
this is blah, 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 whatever house.
Blah, blah, blah,
They just
blah,
kind of
blah.
brushed over it. She's the only one that's actually said what the house is
Mojo
called by
Dojo
Ken.
Casa house.
Barbies in Ken's new established patriarchy seem much happier than before. They're having fun, drinking beers with the Kens, talking to the Kens about
No, they're
things
not.
like technology
Nope.
and sports and movies.
They are
Go on.
serving beer to the Kens.
Yep, they are not consuming. They're not watching movies with the Kens. The Kens are watching the movies.
Yeah, they're serving the kids. Honey, what did you watch? What did you watch?
Which-
What did you enter the wrong theater or something like that?
Name a single Barbie that consumed alcohol in that movie.
Yeah, I can't.
You, Chesh.
I wasn't in the movie.
You're the Wick Barbie. Wick.
Okay.
But that's the joke.
I'm the
here,
Goblin
is
Barbie!
Like,
Yeah,
can I
that's
play
more-
guitar at you for 4 hours? Like, they're not doing these with the Barbies. They're doing these just, like, because, and the
Kens
Barbies
are doing
there.
these with Kens. Kens are drinking beers
Yeah.
with Kens. Kens aren't drinking beers with Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie one's so funny because, like, they're obviously not watching that movie at the end together because otherwise that other Barbie can't swing in and be like, oh, I've never seen this movie. Tell me about it. And then them sweep away the other Barbie.
Right, right,
Like, he would have to be paying more attention to her if they were watching it together.
right.
As opposed to the Barbie world, where it was just like, hi Barbie, you look so pretty today. Hi Barbie, you look so pretty today. One-
Incorrect. At the beginning of the movie, you know what everybody was doing together? Beach. The Barbies were on
beach
the
off.
beach and the Kens were on the beach. They were laying in loungers together, enjoying their time together, dancing together,
Together.
partying together. They did more things together when Barbies were in charge of Barbie Land than they do when Ken takes over with Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House, Mojo Dojo Casa House, and he steals her house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you for some reason that doesn't bother her at all.
No,
It's the Barbie house, you fucking idiot.
I thought conservative
Nincompoop.
cared about property rights.
Right? Women
Barbie
property
even
rights.
says out loud that it's nice to take a break from being a leader all the time. Like, if they wanted to show the patriarchy
Yeah.
being bad or oppressive, they should have, like, a scene where one of the Kens slaps one of the Barbie's asses and the
What?
Barbie's
No.
like, ew. You know,
What?
much like in the
No!
Did she not hear the line that yes, patriarchy is still there, but we hide it better? Did she not
Did
hear
she
that
not?
line?
Did she not understand that Ken has a childlike understanding of what it is and they're Barbies and they don't have sex and so slapping on the ass literally makes no fucking sense? And that Ken responded adversely to that? He didn't do anything. He screamed, but he didn't, like, take that on as if it was a good idea.
Also, when Barbie hits that guy in response, she seems surprised that she did it at all.
That she hit him, yeah.
Yeah, so like it doesn't
need
seem
chocolate.
like yeah, it's like it doesn't
It's
seem like
8:30 in
any
the
form of like
morning.
assault is something
Cheers.
that the Barbies are even cognizant of. So no, a Ken should not have hit a Barbie to show how oppressive patriarchy is. Also, patriarchy is
Patriarchy
plenty
is-
oppressive without violence.
Yes!
Right.
Exactly! Abby, on the point! God dang it! Like, who... For Shoe to say that patriarchy is only like slapping women on the asses or on the face, what world do you live in, girl? What world do you
No,
live in?
she's
Fuck
saying
my
that
life.
she's saying that the movie was basically preachy, but then complaining that it wasn't preaching harder.
Yeah, like, again, pick a lane, girl. Pick a fucking lane. God.
Real world,
Josh,
like
you
what
mentioned
happened
earlier
to
about, like,
Barbie in the real world, to
the
show that
stereotypes.
Ken brought patriarchy back from the real world, but none of that ever happened. Everything just
Also, the Kens weren't happy with the patriarchy. That's part of the point that's made.
Yeah. And also, sorry, my princess, that the movie didn't do exactly as you wanted them to do. Because it was too.
Why wasn't this movie catering to me?
Because the movie was too complex for you to understand in the first place.
No, it's not. She can understand these concepts. She was not stupid.
She's being stupid on purpose.
We've seen her just in this video explain more complicated points of view. She doesn't want to, because she can't actually address the points the movie are making without sounding like a fucking asshole.
Cool and fun. Like, clearly, the movie is saying that patriarchy is good, because if it was trying to say anything else, it failed. The Barbies and Kens are kind of paired up in these little, like, relationships. Like, even though it was the patriarchy, even though the women were seen bringing drinks to the Kens, everything still revolved around the Barbies. They're playing...
How?
So because the movie didn't show violence towards women, other than that one scene where Barbie's ass gets slapped.
From the Kens.
Yeah, the movie didn't show patriarchy.
Apparently.
Is that what she's trying to say? Bitch! Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Fuck my life.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like, it's in policy. It's in like regulations and codes that allow women to be paid less just because they've added on a piece of, you know, like 3 words onto a man's job description and saying, but they do a different job even though they totally don't. It's the fact that, like, women are, like, women who run for president are treated as, like, oh, but what about when she's on her period and she has the nuclear codes? Like, we're gonna make that kind of stupid ass decision.
Shoe is also not acknowledging that the Kens are by nature incompetent compared to Barbie. They do not have the job description. They do not have it inherent, because the Barbies can have it inherent because they are not real. The Barbies don't even say that the Kens can never have it. They just don't currently.
Yeah.
And that's as far as the movie goes.
And again, like, these are dolls. They're not growing up and learning things.
Right. They are born,
you know, entering this Barbie land fully formed, you know, adults, teenagers, whatever age those Barbies
as
are.
president. The Barbies don't vote for Barbie president. Barbie president is president.
Yeah, and you know, there's multiple, like, dolls for Barbie president, sure, but, like, at that point, it's like, okay, like, you're president for this day, and you're president for that day, and that's just going to be in their constitution, because, again, it is a fully formed world as it is created.
Right.
Music for them. They're playing the guitar and drums for them. They're teaching them how to play golf. They're explaining their favorite movies to them. It just came off like the Kens were being really sweet and nice. Like, compared to Barbie World...
No. Hold up. Do I want to learn golf? No, I don't. Do I want to have the guitar played at me for 4 hours? No, I don't. I have literally been on a date where we went bowling, a sport that people are famously bad at, and you are supposed to be bad at unless you're like a professional Olympic bowler, which I still think is weird that it's an Olympic sport, but that's whatever, that's beside the point. And this guy's like, and I'm using the bumper guards because I'm bad at it. And he's like, well, I can teach you how to throw the... I was like, it is bowling. It's bowling. I don't know how to tell you I do not care about this, because it is bowling. It is a sport you play with your friends when you want to have a dumb, stupid time. That's it. I don't want to learn these things. So then Ken telling me, hey, here's how you golf, is not being nice to me. It is projecting his own, like, interests onto me and saying, you have to be interested in this or I can't date you. You have to play every Pokemon game or you're never going to understand me.
It's this issue where it's not they're not telling me how to do or play something because I don't know. It's not for me. They're telling me as a superiority thing. It makes them feel better to tell me about something I may or may not already know about. They're not playing guitar because they want me to enjoy guitar and they're playing. They're playing guitar because they're showing off to the other Kens.
Uh-huh. Oh my god. Ugh.
They're not telling me
like
about
what-
the movie because they think that I care or want to know about the movie. They're telling me about the movie because they think it's impressive and like to hear themselves talk. And they think I'm stupid. It's called being condescending.
Yeah.
Also, to the golf point specifically, it's the whole, like, having your body, like, around the woman as you're, like, teaching her how to swing the club or whatever.
Which makes no sense for
goes for, like,
Barbies.
archery. And, like, that scene works in Princess Diaries 2 when Chris Pine is teaching her how to, like, shoot the arrow because they have this chemistry. That's the whole point of that movie. But that's not something that, like, some rando should just do.
Yeah, it's
Oh my God,
that
that
those
just-
scenes, by the sound of it, were falling just one step behind to, if you don't wear this kind of makeup, yeah, we can't be boyfriend girlfriend anymore, or we can't be in a relationship anymore. It was one step short of that. How does not she realize that? How is she so blind? Fuck.
And again, like my
privileged, I
Pokemon
guess.
comment, like I had a boyfriend literally say that to me. Like, if
Really?
you don't play every single Pokemon game, if you don't love Pokemon, you'll never understand me. Straight up said that.
There's also...
That guy has issues.
But God forbid I say, yeah, you need to see every Barbie animated movie or you'll never understand me.
There's also
Oh.
there's also this kind of underlying issue of the Barbies are already good at things.
Yeah.
We know the Barbies are already good at things. So if there's a Godfather Barbie or a movie or a director or an actor Barbie, they already know everything that needs to be known about the Godfather because they are made to be the idealized version of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't one for Ken. Therefore, inherently, anything the Kens are doing that they're teaching the Barbies at, they're teaching them wrong.
Oh, sorry, that was an evil laugh. That was
They're incorrect.
Yeah.
This is like I don't even know if they made this point on purpose. But that is just, it has to be the case. You do not want to talk to me about the number of times I've had men explain things to me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I know better on. Things that they know I know better on.
Yeah, my usually like movie quotes are like in high school it was like Avatar: Last Airbender because that was like my thing. And I would have a bunch of dudes just be like, that didn't happen. I was like, let's pull up the clip on YouTube.
Episode 7, season 2, 35 minutes, 45 seconds, here you go.
I made a bet with my kids that I was teaching in Italy. I was just like, I bet that you don't think I can name every single episode of Avatar: Last Airbender. They're like, no way. And I was like, watch me.
Oh, they've all got
Did it on
titles.
Snorkel?
Oh, yeah. One thing that here's the other thing too with Shoe, and it's like, listen, it's great if you want to be condescended to. It's great if you want that for your life. If you want a man to talk to you like that and you want to live that life, first off, you're going to have to get off of YouTube and do what you're doing. Because right now you're preaching to people and you're talking to people like you know what you're talking about. So you're just, if you want the Kens to be like the way the Kens are, you need to cut that shit, like, immediately. You need a man to be telling you what you're doing and how to run your channel, which, color me suspicious, but I'm pretty sure you've already had that relationship issue. With Sargon. Or not Sargon, Armored Skeptic. But I digress. Okay. But as somebody who's also had an issue with a man telling her how to run her channel, I feel that.
Oh,
I understand that. I understand why that relationship wouldn't work out. But if you're going to project as if you have that desire, which you obviously do not have, that is clearly something you don't actually want for your life, you're just saying this. either without thinking about it for 5 seconds, or because you feel like you have to maintain your political position, which is kind of fucking weird, to feel like I need to misrepresent this entire movie to maintain my political position. Like, that's kind of extreme.
Yeah.
But besides that, if you did want that for your life, great. Don't tell other women that they need to want that for their life, or disvalue women having the right to make that choice in the first place. Because that's what you're doing. You're saying, because I want this, therefore, or I would be happy with this, therefore nobody gets a choice. I'm the only one who gets to make a choice, and I choose that I want this thing. Great. Nobody else gets to make, therefore nobody else gets to make that choice. Or therefore everybody else all women should agree with me, and if they don't, they're wrong. Even though you're not living your life that way. Because if you were living your life that way, you would not be in the position that you're being. And if women did not, and if women did not get the choices that they're allotted, that you're enjoying right now, because you're enjoying the result of women's suffrage, you're enjoying the rights that you've gotten off of those women protesting and fighting for those rights, and you're using that to attempt to dismantle the things that you're enjoying so that other people after you won't be able to make the choice that you're making, and they'll have to live their life the way that you're not living your life, just the way that you're projecting that you would live your life.
It's very, I'm not a feminist. Do you like having a credit card? Do you like being able to vote? You are a feminist, at least on some level.
Yeah, having a YouTube channel.
You like having your own channel, Shoe. Your own Twitter account. Presence on social media. Instagram.
Do you like making money from any of those things directly instead of all that money going to a man?
Yep.
Whether that be your husband or your dad. Now, I can see the argument of being like, well, I should trust the men in my life to take care of me, therefore there should be no problem. It's like, great. Idealistically, in your ideal, those men would be trustworthy. Can you guarantee that they would be? No? We should probably
life is people are not perfect, and definitely we have not seen people being predators in relationships, pretending to be someone else, during the the courting phase of the relationships, like Andrew Tate, where they love bomb you and shit, and then they lure you to another country to force you to work for porn industry.
Ken Takeover looked like liberation, and then Barbie comes to destroy a slave revolt. The only characters who seem to have a problem with this.
Oh my god, we have to do this again. So, okay, I gave Shad a little bit of a pass because Shad's Australian. He's not American. Yeah. So maybe his information on American history, as much as he likes to be a history nerd about Western and European culture, whatever, he's not from the area, so maybe he's not as familiar with more up-to-date history. Shoe is American. Shoe ought to know about women's suffrage if she wants to be against feminism, because a lot of these people like to say, hey, listen, if you're going to argue against something, you need to know the points that they're making. You have to listen to both sides. Therefore, there's absolutely zero reason why Shoe should not at least know something about how women's suffrage came about. The entire last act of that movie, the final confrontation, is a complete one-to-one allegory of women's suffrage and women's rights to vote without the additional violence, because they were using pool noodles.
And before anyone gets it twisted that you have to listen to both sides, therefore both sides are valid, that's not true. You have to know one side to break it. That's okay.
You have to know the side to know if it's valid or not in the first place.
Yeah.
This is just so
superficial.
We have no patience for Nazis here. We have a zero tolerance policy for Nazis. You saw earlier, either on screen or in the chat, somebody came in with a swastika. Manu gave them the chance to make their point and say, hey, listen, just change your thing. Change your profile picture. They refused and called us intolerant. Correct. I do not play the paradox of tolerance game. We do not tolerate intolerance. Therefore, we do not tolerate Nazis. Period. End of sentence. I do not need to give any, like, if you want my justification, I can give it. Because they're Nazis, it's in the fucking name. If you know what a Nazi is. Therefore, they are intolerant. And so if they are intolerant, there is no reason to allow them. Right.
YouTube...
They're gonna get my video in trouble for their fucking profile picture.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to allow that. The basics was that, but then it was like, why the fuck would you come in something like that as your profile pic? You're clearly coming in to stir shit. Go away.
It's not even that. It's like, if you identify as a Nazi, fuck off. Period.
Yep,
end of sentence. And I'm willing to, like, explain my position to people who want to know my position. I don't even care to explain my position to a Nazi. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no.
I don't need to. You want to be mad at me? Good. I like it when Nazis don't like me.
Yeah, seriously.
New established patriarchy is the outcasted Weird Barbie and the other outcast Alan. During Ken's takeover...
Why is Alan an outcast?
What?
Alan's not an outcast.
What? He has a whole culture behind him.
Alan is personally uncomfortable, but he is not outcast.
And neither is Midge. And, you know, we don't really get a confirmation about Sugar Daddy Ken or Magic Earring Ken if they are outcasts in the original Barbie Land. But, like,
yeah, we don't know.
All of those are not, like, they're all the ones that are, like, immune to Ken's, you know, patriarchy that comes.
Yeah, they're confirmed to be outcast in the patriarchy. They are not confirmed to be outcast in Barbie Land. Weird Barbie is just acknowledged to be weird, and she lives, like, a little bit on the outskirts. That's the most we get, at best.
And also, with Weird Barbie, it's the hero's journey archetype. Like, that's why she's out there. That's why she's so weird. Like, she is the weird old man that's like, you have an adventure.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Of Barbie Land, even in the real world, Ken's Dojo, Mojo, Casa House playsets were like selling off the shelves like hotcakes. And he was becoming a more popular toy than Barbie. Will Ferrell, the CEO, for some reason has a problem with this. That he's like making a lot of money off Ken because like the CEO's like, no, we're supposed to be about girl power. Yeah, okay, Mattel. I think this movie suffered a lot because, like, they couldn't actually...
She didn't get that Mattel was, like, taking a Mickey out of themselves?
No.
She didn't get that at all? Or is it, like, an alien concept to her people taking a Mickey out of themselves?
Also, it's not really clear how much money the Ken stuff is making over the Barbie stuff. Don't you dare
about
that. So... like, they're flying off the shelves. Is that a surprise because it's Ken, or is it a surprise because it's topping Barbie sales?
Right. Like, it would take it would take a very long time for any Ken product to outsell the top-selling Barbie content, let alone all of the Barbie content. So...
TV, media, books, toys... fucking merchandise, like clothes. Yeah, games. Maybe wait another 3 decades.
Make
3 decades.
Mattel the villain. There was no, like, actual villain or threat in this whole movie. Like, there was never a time where you feel, like, on the edge of your seat. Oh no, are they gonna make it? Like, what's gonna happen? There's, like, none of that. But anyway, the girl's mom and the girl travel back.
Why should we? Why should we feel on the edge of our seats all the time? Why? Why can't it be a feel-good movie? Because it's about wokeness?
Massive spoilers for the animated Barbie movies. Barbie saves the day. And I don't know how you're going into a Barbie animated princess movie or, you know, fashion movie and going in expecting there to be any other ending. And so I went into this knowing Barbie's going to be fine. Everything is going to work out. You know, it's not Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna
I'm
give
not
a
worried
big
about
spoiler
someone dying.
ever. This is the most unique Barbie movie with the most unique ending for Barbie that there's ever been in a Barbie movie. Why? Because at the end of the movie, Barbie dies.
Right. Like, did I know how it was gonna be okay? No, I didn't know how it was gonna be okay, but I knew it was gonna be okay.
Movie.
And that's what I wanted going into this movie. I don't go into Oppenheimer expecting them to not drop the bomb.
Right.
Everything's going to be terrible at the end of Oppenheimer because everything was terrible. Like,
I will give Shoe one thing. At least she acknowledges that, like, there is no bad guy in the movie. She presents it like there is no villain. Movies and stories don't have to have villain. This is standard storytelling. It can be hero versus nature, hero versus a political position, or like their own like a personal struggle for their own principles, or it could be versus man. So therefore they're versus an actual villain, right? That's where you get like your Maleficent, right?
Right. And not even just basic storytelling. This is 6th grade literature class.
Yes, when I say basic storytelling, I mean like, you literally learn this in grade 3.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
All stories have a structure about conflict. There's a limited number of things that you can have conflict with. It's either a physical presence or an overarching presence or a presence that exists that is like an earthquake. Like, it is, like, whether or not it's natural or magic is irrelevant. The point is that it is a force in the world that just is. It is not evil, it just is. And then you have, like, your specific villain, or you have, like, to any book, like, it's like, look at your Silver Wing, or look at your Ender's Game, or look at your Hunger Games, or whether or not there is and sometimes there's a mix. Sometimes you have, like, Fern Gully. Fern Gully has 2 main villains. It has a villain, which is your Horrocks? Is that his name?
Hexus, voiced by
Hexus.
Tim Curry, which makes me have really complicated feelings.
Toxic. Yeah, you have him, who is like the bad guy, and then you have the overarching problem of man and their pollution. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about a preachy movie? But you have
8:30 in the morning.
The Barbie movie does not have a bad guy. It has a personal conflict. Barbie is having a personal conflict with the real world and Barbie and where she fits in that area. And then you have mini conflicts that arise between different ideologies, not individuals. She does have conflict with Ken, but the reason she has conflict with Ken isn't because Ken is evil or Ken is a bad guy. Her conflict with Ken is over ideology and personal desires. What does Ken want versus what does Barbie want? Ken doesn't like the patriarchy. Ken doesn't like what he did. He doesn't enjoy it. So the conflict is about Ken's... So. And it's also about Ken's personal journey and conflicts. So the only thing that really conflicts is just people versus other people and what they want versus what works.
Mm-hmm.
And what's practical.
I do think it's really interesting because, like, it does sort of fit into, like, the ugly duckling story narrative, right? You know, if you're trying to find where you fit. And there's tons of ugly duckling stories out there that cater to guys, which, totally fine. You know, let's give them that validation. Like, you are not just out here floundering. Like, there's a place for you. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen the kind of backlash for, like, those types of movies. Like, Scott Pilgrim comes to mind, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so...
There was also no... I was thinking the same thing. There wasn't really any backlash for that movie, outside of, like, real fans that were like, they did this wrong!
Right, but then, like, you know... But Barbie's getting so much of it, and I'm like, it is an ugly duckling story meets a hero's journey, and Okay, and what's your problem?
because they actually get so butthurt, so offended, and so concerned about just even the idea of a fake world that uses, like, that takes the status quo and flips it. They cannot handle the status quo being flipped and then just blatantly been like, yep, that's what it is. That's the only real complaint that I've seen. And this is why I keep saying, they cannot address what the movie is actually saying or what the movie has actually done or the thing that actually bothers them without sounding like an asshole. Because if you say, I don't like that they flipped it because it's so fucked up, you're inherently acknowledging that the way that things currently are is fucked up.
Fucked up. Welcome to the real world, baby.
I wonder if Ken had been a manic pixie dream boy in the, like, most classic sense, and they actually got together in this, you know, like Elizabethtown or Garden State in that type of way. You know, she was going to go to the real world and Ken came running after her, and either she went back to Barbie Land or they went to the real world together. Who cares? Who knows? But, you know, they're together.
If they got together at the end and stayed in Barbie Land, would they complain as much?
Yeah, or even if they got together and went to the real world together, would they complain as much?
Sure.
But because the relationship follows a little closer to, like, 500 Days of Summer, which pissed a lot of people off, because the whole point of that movie was to flip the manic pixie dream girl on the head. Like, I'm noticing a pattern here.
Why wasn't Barbie the hero of G.I. Joe, guys? This is clearly political propaganda.
Yeah, definitely.
G.I. Joe, it was, by the way, absolutely fucking military propaganda.
I saw. I'm looking at the like to dislike ratio on her video, the one we are covering. It's 74K likes and then 1.8K dislikes. I wonder why. So many dislikes. Why?
To Barbie Land, and then, like, the mom pops off on this cringe-ass Twitter thread rant about how hard it is to be a human woman in front of the Barbies.
I'm willing to give, like, yeah, it could be a Twitter rant. I wouldn't call it a bad one, but it is one.
I wouldn't call it cringe.
Sure.
Rants
be
are
smart,
rants,
but not too smart. Pretty, but not too pretty.
You have to be thin, but not too. You have to be boss, but you can't be mean.
Okay, this human woman from Human World pops off about how hard it is being a human woman.
And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault.
And this, like,
Shoe, you've been blaming women for this the whole time. We watched Ben Shapiro's video about this. He was blaming women for it, all the patriarchy problems the whole time. We also watched Shad blame women for patriarchy problems. So...
And you too.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say?
Hearted, preachy speech about her human woman problems apparently snaps the Barbies out of their brainwashing. Yes, that's right. The Barbies weren't having fun with their Kens. They were brainwashed by the...
They were not having fun with the Kens. Correct. This was not a two-way street at all.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like
she's also presenting this as if Barbie at that time. She's also presenting this at that time as if weird Barbie and stereotypical Barbie are not already on board with real world shit.
Yeah.
Which they were. So, and the canceled and all, she's mostly actually speaking to Margot Robbie Barbie, who is struggling at the moment and trying to understand what the problems are, and the Barbies that were not on the, I think there's only one Barbie there that's that's actually, like, brainwashed.
Because they, like, grabbed her.
Yeah.
Patriarchy.
Giving voice to the cognitive dissonance required to be a woman under the patriarchy, he robbed it of its power.
The Barbies were happy until this...
We're back to how the last third of the movie, that whole third act, is about women's suffrage and what happened and how it went down. That's how it went down.
It's also
you should know this
today, because, like, when a lot of girls are raised to be jealous of other girls, and then you realize, wait a minute, I don't have to be jealous of other girls, because if she can take my man, he wasn't my man in the first place.
Right.
Like, he's a shitty partner. That's the cognitive dissonance that we have to, like, dispel in our own real-life brainwashing.
I love the irony of all of these fucking conservative talking heads, these people who like to talk about how logic and reason ought to dictate things, bitch about a movie using logic and reasoning and the cognitive dissonance necessary to, like, acknowledge or break out of a bad way of thinking. What a weird thing to complain about!
And, like,
critical thinking skills.
Like, I had a gal pal who, like, was constantly, like, you know, would tell me I was different from other women and girls, and I was like, I'm so wicked not. And she would bitch about her female coworkers all the time. She was like, they're just catty and rude and whatever. And I was like, have they been rude to you? Or have they been bitching about something at home that's not your fucking business?
Right.
Have you been supportive to them? Because if they're all friends, there's someone who's not willing to be here. Because clearly they can all be friends. So what's up that you are refusing to engage in this?
Unless they're engaging in bullying or something like that. That's something very different. But it doesn't sound like that.
And she was convinced. Like, she was married and she had this pair of friends that were a couple. And they would come over and she would talk about how the wife was trying to steal her husband. And I was like, if she's married... What? She's busy. And also, with love and respect, your husband is not that cute.
What does your husband provide that he's such a fucking catch? That's one of the things about the Kens, right? These Kens are like, no, we belong here, we deserve this. And it's like, what do you provide that makes you think?
But she could not hang out with a woman who had her own husband without thinking she was trying to steal hers.
Oh my god.
That's like a level of insecurity, right? And where does that insecurity come from?
That's like a dangerous level of insecurity.
Sounds like
I don't know
it comes from... Well, it sounds like it comes from not trusting her man.
Yeah, why?
Why wouldn't she trust her man?
Did he cheat on you?
I wonder.
Blah, blah, blah.
It turns out she had good reason not to.
Random woman barged in and started telling them about how oppressed women were and how actually it's really hard being a woman. Clearly, this woman is a metaphor for college.
No, this woman is a metaphor for women's suffrage, and of course that makes sense because literally they're Barbies, and so she's explaining to them something they've never experienced before.
Again,
why are you crazy?
Life in plastic.
Yeah.
At one point during the unbrainwashing, a Barbie snapped out of it and was like, why am I wearing this dress? I would never wear this dress. And the mom is like, yeah, because you're a physicist. What? I couldn't help but think of like other girl power movies.
Outfit. But I thought they were enjoying living under the patriarchy.
But they
just all want to wear maid's dresses. That's really the truth. You want to know what to get women for Valentine's Day? Get them a maid's dress. We'd all love that.
What a bunny dress.
Hey, I wore a bunny thing for my birthday. I didn't wear that because I wanted to.
Not Valentine.
But I also didn't wear it because I wanted to. I wore it because it was an agreement that I made, and I wanted to be uncomfortable on purpose. I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone. I did not want to wear it. I wore it because, one, I wanted to have a little bit of fun, and two, I wanted to be uncomfortable, but in a safe area that I was able to do so and control the situation to enable myself to be more comfortable by expanding what I'm capable of. That was all my choice. Something that was well thought through, not something that was imposed upon me like it is with the Barbies and the Kens.
No, God.
Like, Dragon Con has the Bunny Hut party, where people, like, take their cosplays and turn them into Playboy Bunny styles. And they're so funny. I love some of the ones that people come up with. They're great. But that's the Bunny Hutch party. We're not going to, like, take those and then wear them to, like, a cosplay contest that isn't Bunny Hutch related. We're not going to take that and just wear it to work. That's not our comfy outfit. We're not wearing that watching Netflix.
Women, the thing that Shoe is missing here is that women can't do both. She's physicist Barbie. She is a physicist, and she is Barbie. Therefore, she is not made Barbie. So yes, she would never wear this. You are missing she's a doll.
Because the other thing too with
I think
Barbie
she missed
is
the whole movie.
Like, Barbie is a fashion doll. Like, you're supposed to, like, change the clothes and everything. But when you take the Dr. Lab coat off of veterinary Barbie and put it on Beach Barbie, suddenly Beach Barbie is now veterinary Barbie. Or Dr. Barbie. Or whatever. But she's wearing a lab coat, so she is whatever type of lab coat wearing profession you want that Barbie to be.
Right.
So,
and the Barbies in Barbie Land are
out of the maid outfit. She's a physicist. When you put her in the maid outfit, she's no longer a physicist, according to playing with Barbie rules.
Right.
So yeah, why am I wearing this? Because I'm not maid Barbie.
I'm physicist Barbie. There's also this whole thing where they've completely missed the philosophy. Barbie has a job, and the Barbies in Barbie Land are the ones that are made by Mattel, which are the idealistic version of that individual Barbie being that particular Barbie job.
I'm like, yeah, women can be both.
And only that job. They're not women. Right, they're not women. Women can do both. Women can do whatever they want. The Barbies can't do that. They're Barbies. Existential crisis Barbie.
Who did this much better, like Legally Blonde. That literally has the
Legally
opposite
very
message
good.
here. And this movie is like,
it's not opposite.
You're smart.
Okay.
What are you doing being hot?
No.
Again.
No.
Elle Woods is a person.
And Elle Woods...
she's not a doll.
Elle Woods became smart. Like, she was a smart individual, but did not utilize any of that potential because men. And then she utilized that potential because men. It's not until the end of the movie where you reach that arc where she's like, I don't need men.
Yep. And she was always smart when it came to fashion stuff. Like when she told the
was
sales
always
clerk,
smart.
you know, like, you can't do this with this stitch. That's from last season. Like, she's really smart. She knows her stuff. But fashion is frivolous, and so she's actually just dumb.
Yeah. It's viewed as unintelligent, and that's the shift in the movie. She takes her intelligence and instead of applying it where people expect her to apply it, she applies it somewhere else.
And even when she does apply it, her professor tries to sleep with her.
Right, exactly.
And it's not hard for women. Okay, women. Okay, cool. Also, they show it in the beginning. Like there's this she goes to a dress shop, like for shopping, right? And there's this like one of the attendants there. She tries to sell off a last season's dress to her and saying, "Oh, this is the latest." And Elle Woods is like, "Oh no, this stitch type is from last year. It's not from this year." She's observing.
Exactly.
She knows her shit. And to say, and it's like saying that fashion designers are not intelligent. You know what I mean?
If I recall correctly, that dress is supposed to be rayon, and so like to be able, she doesn't look at the tag, so to be able to like just touch a fabric and know this is rayon is a wild level of your shit.
Yeah. That's what
Hello?
they demonstrated.
Women can do everything except want to dress sexy and be submissive to a man or get along.
Barbie was never unattractive. It's Barbie.
Yeah. She was never unattractive. Also, did you miss where she was in her cute little gingham beach outfit, or any of them in their beach outfits? I would say those were pretty sexy.
Yeah. And they did not... I thought you said they were doing things together. Now they're submissive? I thought you said the Barbies and the Kens were doing things together. So they weren't doing things together.
Earlier, Chesh, like, clearly, Shoe doesn't want to be submissive. So why should the Barbies want to be that way?
Yeah, pick a lane, dude. Pick a lane.
And there is no... And here's the thing. There is no submissive to Ken Barbie.
Yeah.
Does that mean there shouldn't be? Not necessarily. I guess there could be. Sounds kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like that's something conservatives would complain about. I feel like BDSM Ken Barbie would probably get, like, some weird looks.
That would be discontinued way faster than Pregnant Midge ever was.
Right? That'd go out the window pretty goddamn fast. But if you have, like, Dom Barbie and Sub Ken and Sub Barbie and Dom Ken, I feel like you'd get in some... I feel like maybe... I don't think Shoe knows what she's asking for here.
We'll have World War III, man. We'll have World War III.
There is no submissive Barbie, and it is Barbie land. I don't know how many... Okay, any of you go out there and watch the Barbie movie, count how many times they say that this is Barbie land. Because I want to take a drink, and I also want to know how many times that is, because I bet it's a lot. And the fact that Ben Shapiro, fucking, what's his face? Shad and Shad's wife and Shoe0nHead seem to just miss this fact of the matter is baffling.
With men in general, or else they're just brainwashed by the patriarchy. Clearly, the movie was trying to show us how ridiculous that is, and was making fun of that. Clearly. So with the new feminist program downloaded into their brains, the Barbies decide to trick the Kens, to distract them into infighting.
How dare they?
So while they're busy fighting, they could secure the Barbie world constitution and take the government back or something. So what do they do? What do they do with this new knowledge of feminine empowerment? They use the Kens' love and devotion and loyalty against them, and trick the Kens into thinking they are cheating on them with other Kens. Clear.
What loyalty did the Kens have to anyone but Barbie? What they did was they made the Kens feel insecure. That's what they did. And then the Kens took that out on other Kens because they don't care about the Barbies. They don't care about that. They care about how they're viewed by the other Kens, and the superiority complex of Ken to Ken, which is demonstrated to us in the first 10 minutes with the beach off.
Beach off!
It's also very unclear what everyone's, like, relationship status is. Is every Barbie and Ken paired off, and they're exclusive with that Barbie and that Ken? Or do they, like, hang out with one Ken per day? Is it just kind of a big giant polycule? Like,
none of them are fucking. We know that.
Yeah. So
it's girls' night. Like, it's girls' night. There's no fucking. They have no genitals. They don't have that kind of relationship. Stop being weird.
Clearly showing that women will be brainwashed by feminism to destroy monogamy. Clearly. Now, while the Kens are busy infighting,
monogamy,
get back into power.
Holy shit!
Historically, how fascism takes over, and they.
Shoe, did you stretch before you did all this reaching? 'Cause you're gonna pull something.
She reached 20 minutes with this nonsense? Seriously?
They go right back to living their girl boss utopia. The movie just showing that feminism is doo-doo, and not about equal rights. Greta Gerwig, you genius. Even I wouldn't have come up with such a brilliant movie. Ken learns that he doesn't have to rely on Barbie. He could be his own self and have his own personality outside of Barbie.
Yeah, so
what's
what's wrong
the
with
only
that?
thing that she gets right in this movie is about Ken? Were you just distracted by Ryan Gosling too much, girl? I don't blame you.
I mean, I get it.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
Basically, like, he just learns to stop being a simp. But what's funny and ironic about this movie is, even though the movie is about Barbie, it's basically the Ken movie. Ken has...
I feel like Shoe doesn't understand what simping is, or what it's about. Because simps don't necessarily care about the individual, they care about how it's self-satisfying. It's not about satisfying the other person.
It's a relationship, what they get out of it. Yeah.
Right. The simping is a one-way street. It's about what they get from the individual, like a parasocial relationship, right? So now they might self-sacrifice for that person, but it's reciprocal. It's about what they get from that person when they do that and how that makes them feel. It's not about the other person involved. So I don't know if this is just like kind of a misunderstanding on her part, or if this is like specifically chosen. or if she's just being wishy-washy.
I think so. She just didn't understand the movie at all, or she
Oh,
just
that too.
went, like you said, heavily biased, and she was projecting all the time.
No, I think she has to make. I think she has to make this video for this channel because it's expected of her to do so. She has no other option. Well, how she personally feels about the movie is irrelevant. She's got a brand to sell.
Yeah.
As the biggest character arc, Barbie doesn't even really have one until like the last second of the movie, and then she's like, I don't even know who I am, and it's like, where the fuck did that even come from? There's no.
That happens at the beginning of the movie. That's why she goes on the hero's journey in the first place.
Oh God.
I wouldn't even say like that's when it starts. It's just like, you know, why is this happening to me?
Right.
And then she figures that out, and like, but did you miss the part where she was on the ground having an existential crisis, like 30
You mean
minutes
the reason
before
why
this?
the rant that she was so concerned about started? The rant started was because Barbie was having a hard time. Before that, Barbie was laying on the ground giving up. At another time, Barbie is crying because she doesn't feel like she's pretty enough, which is when the rant starts.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, you see her doing Barbie's makeup for her, something that's never had to be done because she's Barbie. When she gets to the real world and gets slapped on the ass, she's having a fucking minute. Did you just miss the movie?
Yeah.
Like epic moment for the Barbies, and the Kens get like a really fun and entertaining
Fucking love
musical
that
number. The clash
really
between these two groups on screen towards the end, a woman like lecturing us versus a bunch of dudes dancing and being bros. Like
oh, bros.
Clearly this movie is pro-men, because if it was trying to be anything else, it failed.
It was pro-men. There's nothing in this movie that is against men doing men things.
Right.
There is
Why
this
would you
really
think
funny thing
that?
called like wholesome, because there's like toxic bros being bro, and then there's wholesome bros being bros. The like, bros being bros being wholesome is just like when you lost your keys at a frat party and you go back to the frat house the next day, one of the dudes answers the door and they're clearly all hungover and like just falling down the stairs, and they say, hey, I don't mean to bother you, but I lost my keys, and then like one of them goes, okay, yo, hold on 1 second, you want some waffles? And goes back inside, texts the whole group, and the group chat, and the group chat says, hey, there's some missing keys, they look like this, and then all you hear is like thundering of elephants around the entire house, and then one of them's like, ah! And then they're all like, yeah! And then the keys get like the keys do one of two things. Either they fly across to one dude, to the next dude, to the next dude until they make it all the way downstairs, or one dude comes running through like he's carrying the Olympic torch, high-fiving all the way down. That is wholesome bros being like hyped up and excited and like just really emotionally invested in some random bullshit. That's bros being bros in the best way possible. And that's what this scene is. They're all just like being way over the top and invested in whatever dumb shit they're into, which is totally fine and good. Do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why I don't understand. Why did you think that this movie will be against men? Why do you think that? Is it because you had a bias because it's a Barbie movie and it has Margot Robbie in it?
No, because she thinks that feminism is inherently anti-men, which it is not.
And also because she watched Ben Shapiro's video and he said it was anti-man.
Yep.
And
a woman being subservient.
She's mad. Yeah, so she's mad that a feminist movie is not man-hating. Oh my god, my worldview has been shattered. Huh!
Oh no,
I've
done the equivalent of Googling feminism and having the slightest amount of historical knowledge.
And I know I've mentioned this like every week so far, but like, okay, the movie is also about Ken, which it says at the very end is part of the theme. It's Barbie and it's Ken, and the movie's titled Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what other movie is about the non-titular character? Aladdin. It's also about Jasmine.
Yep.
And they made it even more so in the live action.
Most movies, believe it or not, have subplots and character development of other characters. Avatar: The Last Airbender is about Aang, But also it's about Zuko, and also it's about Katara, and also it's about Sokka, and also it's about Toph, and also it's about Azula, and also it's about Appa, and also it's about, you know, who's the real linchpin? Uncle Iroh.
Oh. we stand for Uncle Iroh. We ride at dawn for Uncle Iroh. Yes.
Barbie is the Matrix for women. Would you rather live in Barbie land, never age and never get cellulite, never cry, and just party all the time with your friends? Or live in the real world where everything is imperfect, you age, you get cellulite, and you cry, but it's real? And after holding the hands of Ruth, the creator of Barbie, Barbie is overwhelmed with images of mothers and daughters. So Barbie decides to reject the blue pill, rejects the perfection, and rejects the matriarchy, chooses to stay in the real world, chooses to stay in the...
She didn't reject matriarchy. She just said, "Okay, I want to be a real person." That's it. That's all it was.
She embraced...
I want to be the creator, not the idea.
She embraced it. Correct. It's not about matriarchy. It's about whether or not
it's not about
you
rejecting
want to
something else.
Experience the real life, or if you want to have fantastic plastic. But that's not a choice that's being made by a woman. It's a choice that's being made by a Barbie. That's also the difference. This isn't a choice that you get to make as a woman. It's not a choice we get to make. We live in the real world. We don't have an option. So even if you choose to live like the playboy bunny hot girl who's actually a gold digger, because if you're too hot and you're with somebody who's rich, you obviously don't actually care about that person. Oh, whoops, did we get too real immediately? Wow, go figure. Nothing you ever do is good enough.
Exactly. And also, in order to, like you said, embrace the next thing, you don't have to reject something you already had. You don't have to reject matriarchy in order to, you know, move forward. It's not like how that like that the world doesn't work like that. That's the difference. Like you said, like humans can be a lot of things together. Barbie couldn't. So that's why she decided to become a human. She made that decision because she could be whatever she wanted, or whatever, like one thing she wanted, or whatever multiple things she wanted. That's what it was.
It's also in the hero's journey, it's also now the curse of knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
You can't go back to where you were because now you know what's out there. It's like being in an abusive relationship. If you've been abused your entire life and then somebody treats you like normal, it's hard to go back. It's hard to accept being abused when somebody treats you with basic kindness. And then one day you learn that it was actually just basic kindness. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was just...
And it blows your entire fucking mind. That's how that is where women's suffrage came from.
Like when in my second abusive relationship, the moment I started doubting myself was when that relationship was over. Because I remembered having that self-doubt in the first one and then having to break that over the course of like the next few years and a few healthy relationships, so that whenever it got to the point, like the very first moment of self-doubt I had, I was like, we're not doing this again.
This is the line, yeah.
Patriarchy, and chooses to become human.
So apparently, when she is turned into a real woman, she has now grown a vagina. So the first thing that she does is she goes to the gynecologist, because ladies...
How dare she have a vagina?
We don't...
How dare she grow a vagina?
That can't be the first thing that she did. Like, that's not possible. Because now she's met the dad. First off, the dad character is there.
She's met the dad, and she has pink Birkenstock. She probably went shopping.
Yeah, at minimum. So, no, it's not... And you have to have some kind of identification to be able to even get an appointment in the first place. So, no. Wrong? But we're not here to talk about Ben Shapiro. He's already...
Is not motherhood. We got rid of that at the very beginning. It is your vagina. It is that you go to the gynecologist.
The scene in 2001 Odyssey.
Oh, she's not going to bring that up. Hey, yeah, what do you go to the gynecologist for?
Just the vagina? Is it?
shows man could stop being a victim of nature and instead have power over nature. The little girls in the beginning show they don't have to be a victim of the patriarchy. No longer do they have to be confined to motherhood, to nature. They now have power over nature. And so they smash their baby dolls in the shadow of a towering pillar of Barbie, a towering pillar of Mattel, a towering pillar of capitalism. Clearly
women are natural mothers.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want kids? That's okay. You'll change your mind. So many people think it is in women's nature to be mothers or to be motherly. So yes, it is girls and women rising above what people think is our nature.
She just did that. She just did that. She said that girls don't have to be mother. They can go against being mothers, against nature. What the fuck do you mean by that? Oh, women are by nature, they are designed to take care of babies. Is that, or children, or man-child, or men-children?
She's over applying the analogy. In 2001: A Space Odyssey, she's right. It was about like this. The scene demonstrated that you can go above what is limited by your natural capabilities. Your natural capabilities being not utilizing tools, being not confined to Earth, right? But she's then taking that, rather than taking the concept, she's taking the particular and starting to apply it because she has to. If she doesn't, her point doesn't stand. Because what it is it's imitating that, but talking about, yes, the limitations of the patriarchy. Yes, the limitations of what people were enforcing that women ought to do. Women can go beyond that. But instead of just taking the analogy and making that comparison, she has to pull that other analogy, like that other one, in to make her point work when it doesn't apply there. There's nothing in nature that they're breaking in that scene. In the original one, they're destroying bones. In this one, they're destroying baby dolls and plastic and porcelain. They're not breaking anything natural. They're using natural things.
They're not killing babies.
They're breaking them on rocks. They're using natural things to break those toys. So she is falsely, incorrectly, inaccurately, dishonestly maybe, taking from that analogy, and instead of comparing them one-to-one, she's comparing them one-to-one and then being like, yeah, but I also need this piece from this other one to make it work. When it doesn't, that's not applicable. Right. We're almost done.
Contrasted with the ending of the movie, where Barbie rejects her capitalist utopia created by Mattel, visits a gynecologist, and embraces nature. Nah, it really ain't that deep. It was just kind of a silly little movie. It was a fun movie. I liked it. It was a nice change
but
from
because of my brand, I had
Disney
to like
remakes
on it,
and Marvel movies. It was also nice to just see some like color on the big screen instead of brown and gray, because everything has to be gritty and realistic. This was just very cartoony and fun and reminded me a lot of early 2000s movies like Josie and the Pussycats. Also, this movie is like deadass a Rorschach test. I heard people say it's woke, anti-woke, gender abolitionist, alt-right, a TERF film. My boyfriend made an entire video about how actually it's a conservative film and how Greta Gerwig is our new Homer. No, I'm not joking. The discourse around this movie is like more interesting and entertaining than the movie. But I do recommend seeing it. I mean, or like waiting.
For a woman who
wants to have the brains to represent that.
For a woman who wants women to be suppressed or submissive to men, why is she throwing shade at her boyfriend?
Yeah. I didn't know you could do that as a submissive.
You can't. Okay. Under what she's asking for, you can't do that. That's how you get hit. At least.
Oh, that's patriarchy, getting hit. Oh, yeah.
Until it's on, I almost said DVD. It was cute, not every movie is going to agree with me politically, and that's okay, not every movie is gonna be, I don't know, Fight Club. So did you see this movie, and what did you think of it? If you like this video and want to support my channel, please feel free to donate to my Patreon, link down below, and I will see you guys real soon with a new video. A video that's not a...
Go on. The video's over. She's just chilling her shit.
Yeah, like that's all I know about Fight Club is that like I've never seen it, but everything I hear about it is that it is against toxic masculinity. So if not every movie has to agree with her politically, what is it about Fight Club that does?
Right. Good question. What's the political message of Fight Club? A conversation for another day, perhaps. Here's the thing. Why, if you're like, oh, this is a really fun movie, this whole video was a joke, why are you so invested in the argument? You're trying to have your cake and eat it too, and we see you. Stop it. Pick a lane.
Pick a lane.
I've watched plenty of fun movies and shows, and I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm just like, okay, you know what? Separate the brain from it. It's fine. Like, it's cute, it's fun, and that's it. I'm not going to think too critically about it.
Sure.
I'm also not making videos on YouTube talking about how woke they are.
Or how anti-woke they are, or trying to explain. Here's the thing. If you liked it and had no problem with it, and you were like, it disagreed with me politically, but that's fine, why did you feel the need to misrepresent it?
Yeah.
And then at the end just be like, just kidding. Just kidding about what? Your entire representation about what the movie was actually saying? That's not a joke. What's the joke?
Yeah.
What was the kidding part?
Yeah.
Or are you just doing that to deflect any criticism?
At least this one was shorter.
Yeah. Less torture.
We still had a lot to say about it, but at least it was shorter.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, Shoe did at least bring sort of a little bit, like some of it was a different perspective. I'll give her that much. Whereas Shad was like a whole lot of a nothing burger, and Ben is just like was having way too much fun playing with his Barbies.
Yeah, definitely.
At least she actually covered the movie.
She did do a better job
misrepresentation or not, she actually covered the movie.
Yeah, for the most
she?
part. Yeah, she got it far. Like she was more accurate than Ben Shapiro was. I don't know what movie Ben Shapiro was.
Yeah.
And Shad was just like
all over the place. Ah, apocalypse!
Yeah. Over halfway in was like, oh, I guess I should probably talk about the movie. Rather than just call it vile propaganda.
Feminist intersectional propaganda, I think is the term specifically that he used a lot.
Without describing
because he had nothing else to say because he doesn't know how to explain what any of those things are.
Yeah, didn't even give a definition. Nothing.
Can I make maybe a recommendation for Shoe? Please crack a history textbook about women's suffrage, read about what had actually happened, and then think about that last third of the Barbie movie. Then maybe you'll understand it.
Yeah, no, but that's too much work for him. Maybe he'll ask his team to do
not
that
Shad.
for him, I guess.
Shoe.
Oh, Shoe. Oh, okay, sorry. I got confused.
I mean,
So
I shouldn't be that big of a
Shad.
Well, yeah, but Shad shouldn't be adverse to cracking a history textbook.
Yeah. He claims to be a history nerd.
Well, any last thoughts, I guess, from you guys? What do you guys think? I don't know.
Like,
at least it was
in
short.
today's
At least
world,
she actually covered the movie. Those are my final thoughts.
Any final thoughts about the Barbie movie or what we've covered all the way? With Barbie month?
Barbie
the last
movie is
thoughts of
stellar.
Barbie month. Stellar.
Play with Barbies. Watch the animated movies.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Be a kid. What about you, Manya?
You can be anything you want to be.
Yay. For me, it's kind of becoming quite clear now for all these conservative channels why they cover certain things. It's because of the branding, and they do no work. They do no work, no intellectual work, no mind work for it, and they expect people to just gobble up what they throw out into the garbage bin. And I think so. It's good to cover them now and then, because then you can give people the tools to recognize, like, oh, this is bullshit. This is just branding stuff. That's it.
I think my final thoughts are that how well this movie was written and produced is a testament to how poorly they're able to represent it. The Barbie movie did such a good job making its point that this conservative side of the internet can't even address the point. They have to make up other things that it was saying or other things that it was doing to even be able to come close to talking about it. So the fact that their feelings are too bothered by the facts of what has historically happened. Like, it's not an argument about what happened during women's suffrage. There's not a question about what happened and how things went down. That is a fact. And they cannot handle this fact so much so that they have to completely invent a whole new Barbie world for them to try to even come close. And they don't. And the fact that all of these groups are just getting absolutely played by this movie should tell you, if this is how they can handle a piece of media, you know that they are not honestly representing any of these points or any of these groups. They're not, and they have not been, and they will not. They can't handle it within just a movie that they can pause and rewind and record and write down and analyze and pull up. They have to misrepresent it. So you know that they're not representing feminism. You know they're not representing anything that goes against them that they can't directly address. And I think that's the way to leave it. The Barbie movie doing such a good job exposing that is just the cherry on top.
It's like when people try to say, it's like when people try to say, we are centrist, so we'll talk to the other side that's saying they want the trans ideology to be removed from the society, but they're not talking about the trans people.
Yeah.
That's
what
they can't
even define what trans ideology is. Right.
Yeah, and I'm just sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it.
Yeah. It's, I mean, if anything could tell you that these people are a fucking joke, it's this movie. And the way they've handled it. I don't think there's any reason to even look at what they say about anything else if they can't even handle this. Facts don't care about your feelings, Ben. And I think Shad's term was, get stuffed, I think was the thing.
And for Shoe0nHead, I think so, like, why? Why? Why even?
Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Please follow Abby and Manya down at the links down below. Thank you so much if you've joined, if you've supported, and yada yada yada. Same thing that Shu was saying. Links are down below in the description. And follow us again. We will see you soon, later. And you can follow me on Twitch if you want more nonsense. Thank you so much for coming. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Fekk Friday.
Don't Fekk
Friday. Don't Fekk Friday.
Don't Fekk
Friday. Don't Fekk Friday.
It's going to be fun.